Looks as though we're all ready to go. Howdy, of course. My name is Six. Of course, I am the original 7th Power Ranger, as we all know, and this is The Fix Is In. So we've decided that we're going to get together and start talking and do what every sort of white male between the ages of 18 and 45 does, and get together and talk and share our opinions online. And of course, bring in here, as always, Brad. Mate, how are you?
Yeah, right. Nothing to tell.
Nothing to tell?
So
Really?
it's Monday. It's my sort of day where the shop's shut, so we thought we might do this and catch the US people on their Sunday afternoon.
Why not?
Yeah.
So, things are not exactly happy and cheerful in our world, are they?
Well, yeah, in the wider world, not so much.
Well, specifically for us, because we're musicians, we deal with musicians, and it seems as time goes by, there are fewer and fewer opportunities for musicians. And unfortunately, here in Sydney, that does mean that we've got yet another venue that's closed down. This, of course, is the Mosh Pit, which, they were just an awesome dive bar here, not too far from where my workshop is, down the other end of King Street. They've been forced to close their doors, which absolutely sucks. It's just one more venue that's had to pack up and move and, close their doors because rents go up, people have less money to spend, and it's just getting worse and worse for, everyone out there.
You've had the Mary's Underground, which closed, what was that, last year, was it?
Yeah.
About this time last year. So that used to be the basement, which was sort of the premier jazz venue for Sydney, long history. And they just same old thing. Revenues reducing from just lack of either attendance or people not spending any money while they're there. I guess there's a whole bunch of stuff all sort of intertwined together that's making this happen, but a lot of it goes back to real estate, zoning, that kind of thing, but also cost of living pressures being the biggest one, because that affects pretty much everything all at once. But everyone's aware of that. But in the music industry, a lot of the sort of time you spend going out the most is when you're in your, say, early to mid 20s, maybe not so much financially stabilized just yet. So those with the least disposable income are often the target market for the music industry, which clearly isn't probably the most predictable business model. But
yeah. Well, I mean, so much of it also comes down to the fact that it is just the rent seekers. They're all out there and they're going, you know what? We want our cut. We want our cut of everything from the top down. So you've got the landlords of these premises, which just keep putting the rents up and up and up because the property values keep going up and up and up because, other landlords, they want to buy and sell, and previously it was getting their capital gains. So, okay, rents go up. Rents go up for everyone. So people like myself, I rent. When I'm paying more rent to a landlord, guess what I have less money to do with? Play money. I can't go out there and just spend ages like I used to, going out there and putting it into the local businesses, buying things, getting food, getting drinks, all that kind of jazz. You've got to weigh up what you're going to do. Okay, am I going to go to this gig and spend money, or am I going to go out with my friends on another day? Which one is it? So when you've got less money to circulate, you've got more and more venues that are just like, you know what? It's not worth it for us anymore. We're going to put poker machines in, or we're going to just sell out to another one of the big groups like Merivale or Mucho or something like that. And it just...
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out is around the Vivid time, we went to the CBD where most of the light show stuff is in Sydney. It's a yearly light festival in Sydney. There was a couple of bars we went to just to grab a drink on the way to something, and they were dead. And it was like Friday, Saturday night, middle of the night, like sort of, when you'd expect these places to be at their sort of peak. And there was no one in there. And these places are in the middle of the CBD, so their rent there must have been like at least like 4 times what Mosh Pit was paying.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these are just loss leader venues for maybe the hotel it's attached to or whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to figure this stuff out. Like I said in my post, uninformed white man.
That's all right. That's what we're here for, to learn a bit more and kind of figure out what it's about. And
Uninformed podcaster. I know. Who would have thunk it?
I know, right? But hey, we've got opinions. It's okay. But look, a lot of it didn't used to be this bad. So back in the day, the reason why we had the third space, as the fancy term is, people know it as, is because you didn't do a huge amount of home. You went out to these places. It was the kind of thing that was still affordable.
So just to clarify to those that aren't familiar with that term, so third place is basically they're becoming aware that that's like a kind of a human need to have a place other than your home, other than your work, that you can go and hang out and socialise. So the third places is for a lot of people, it could be like a men's shed or whatever, where they just catch up with people. It's a human need, an instinctual need that we need connection with people, and the third place is the place that allows us to do that. That's what he's talking about there.
Yep. There's 20, 30, 50 years ago, there were a lot more of these. So, here in Australia, to be down at the pub, you'd go down there because, takeaway drinks were kind of more expensive. You'd go down there, you'd go to the pub, you'd watch bands, you'd have dinner out in the back half there, all that kind of jazz. It was something worthwhile. In America, there was a massive boom in bowling alleys. Everyone used to go bowling. It was cheap. You went there and you did your teams, your leagues, you hung out, you had your local bars as well that you'd go to. Obviously, UK, Britain, all those places, pubs on every corner. People would go and associate with others outside of the house. But
pubs, particularly in the UK, they're almost like a community centre.
Yeah.
Like that was where everyone knew everyone, and it wasn't like so much as it is over here now, where you just go to a pub for a beer. It was like that's where you went when you weren't doing anything else. Like it was literally the community centre where everyone kept in touch with everyone. It was the trading post where you bought and sold stuff with each other. It was the community hub, and I think the internet's probably done a bit to gut that as well. Like I said, there's so many facets to this thing, all combining together to basically make a lot of these businesses sort of unsustainable. Planet Netflix, I call it. A lot of people just stay at home and watch movies instead of going out and socialising. It's just easy. It's just your default position is in the pajamas, on the couch, in the warm. And trying to get people off that is getting harder and harder every day as these comforts sort of dig their claws in and try and like it. I'm going on a tangent here, but these things like, for example, the smart TV feed that shows you your movies, right? It's every user interface these days on every screen device. It seems to be designed to keep us attached to that device, So things like Netflix, the YouTube feed that we just popped up on. These are sort of designed to keep you engaged in order to derive advertising revenue from who's paying for advertising. And these are like crack to some people, and it's so hard to peel yourself away from that and go out and actually, mix with the real world. And to be honest, I'm starting to notice, because I don't go out as much more these days anyway. I'm fucking old, but also working too much. But when I do go out, you'll go out and there'll be like a couple or like a group of friends, and still everyone's glued to their phones, like sitting at the table, scrolling mindlessly through a feed while they could be actually talking to each other. So that's a big factor as well. I think the addiction to social media, that kind of thing. It's essentially free because you are the product. So
yeah, and that's like part of like what you see now with people going, I wish there were more places and more things to do there. People have reached a point where they understand how fucked everything is. Like it's now we're like, okay, we're stuck at home. All of these subscription services that we've sold were so amazing are now incredibly expensive. No one's making
Yeah.
money. Everything is going bust. You've got bands that are no longer touring because they're like, well, we can't get enough people to come see things. Bands that are just like, fuck it, we're going to get a day job because streaming barely pays anything. People aren't buying the albums. And because of the almighty powerful algorithm, you can't just break ahead unless you have some kind of gimmick. And even then, it's not even guaranteed. You're not building up that, like, you know, organic audience, the people who would come along and stick with you for the long term. Like, I've got
It's easy come, easy go.
yeah, I've got someone who I know, the missus is a friend with, and she has, you know, now secured a record deal and is about to tour the US. She doesn't even have an album out yet. Just because.
Really?
Yeah, that is how it is
Wow.
now. It's like, okay, she got latched onto the algorithm, which picked it up and sent out a whole bunch of things out there, and a lot of people followed, but there's not that whole organic movement there. So when
It's like
the
the
next
lottery,
thing comes
eh? It's
along,
just-
yeah, when the next
I
thing
think
comes
that-
along, you're going to end up with suddenly these people who just, they disappear because they're not sticking with them. They want the next
Yeah.
novel thing.
It's life in general at the moment feels like a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically, the only way to get ahead is if you have this absolutely no chance to affect it, but just randomly you get picked up by an algorithm, you know. And it's
Yeah.
just we were brought up sort of. We were probably, to be honest, the last generation that was sort of taught this. But yeah, if you work hard enough, you can get whatever you want, and that's just not fucking true anymore. Like, I know everyone says, "Oh, that's just an excuse. You're just being lazy. You're just whining because you're, you know." But it's just not fucking true, man. Like, there's bands, there's artists, there's authors, there's people that just battle their whole fucking life and they barely make a living, and they are putting out some of the best shit that's ever been done by a human, and then some other person just gets picked up because just randomly the algorithm feeds back on itself and gives them a boost, and then that's it, you know.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's I think this is more of a philosophical thing on life in general, but
Well, see, even not just like philosophical and that, it's the way that the world is now. In the last 10 years, we have seen just the absolute just degeneration of things that made, you know, life kind of really worth it. Like, you know, we're talking about like music venues, like Mosh Pit, that have gone and, like, you know, unable to sort of continue on now because, you know, we look through the article here. You know, sad news. Sydney Siders' beloved music venue, Mosh Pit Bar, has announced it will be permanently closing the doors. Since its opening in 2016, the venue has been a launching pad for emerging heavy punk and alternative acts, which is an important thing. You know, it was somewhere where it was like your traditional hard rock dive bar. It was cool. Yeah, so pretty much hasn't been made due to losing a love for running the institution. It's quite the opposite. The ever-increasing operating costs combined with declining revenues, it has become financially impossible for the venue to stay open. Part of that has to do with, as we were saying before, rents. Like this property, they've been there, they're at the end of their lease. Here in Australia, you get to the end of a commercial lease and you get what's called a market rent review. Now, in that end of King Street, and when Mosh Pit opened, it was still quite cheap. There are a lot of like premises down there that are empty, and they get to the end of the lease and it's like, all right, cool. Now we look at the area, we look at how the economy is, we look at various factors. We're going to bump your rent up by 50% in one hit. It's insane. Like, how are you supposed to plan for that when it's like, okay, right now we're in, let's be honest, we're in a recession and a worldwide one because the world's dumbest shit going on. So people don't have as much money to spend. You'd think that landlords want, you know, long-term tenants are going to stay there and keep paying rent, but that's not what they want because their property values are also tied to that rent here in Australia anyway.
I think there's also a lot of these investors that own these places don't own just one place, right?
No.
So if, for example, Mosh Pit, they just kept the rent the same, that would devalue probably all their other assets in that area.
Yeah.
If you've got like corporations or whatever that own like dozens of properties in an area, they will artificially increase those above market value in order to lift the market up. So they basically value their other assets in the area at a higher price, even though it's not necessarily. It's basically market fixing, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's price fixing essentially, but it's legal.
Yeah.
So
The other thing as well is when it comes to commercial properties is that the commercial values are tied to what rent you can / have gotten for it before, right? So if you drop the rent on a premises, that means its assessment, the value goes down. If you have loans on it, obviously that means you can kind of get screwed on it. But if you don't, it means that you can't borrow against it, as so many rich people do. They borrow against it to fund their lifestyle, so they pay less in tax.
Well, that's literally the only way you can make money is by having money these days. That's like the entire economy is just leveraging debt. It's insane. Should be illegal.
It should be, And we're witnessing like this whole great upward shift in wealth, and that we're seeing less velocity of money, and this absolutely kills culture. It kills the arts, because not only have we got music venues that are no longer able to keep the doors open, like here in Newtown, right? Here in Newtown, the inner west, there used to be so many places. Now they just don't exist. Like Mosh Pit was unique in that it ran bands most nights of the week. So many other places that say they do live music and all that kind of jazz, they do it like once or twice a week, maybe, if that. Whereas this
maybe
was like
Thursdays,
an actual,
usually. Friday, Saturdays.
Yeah, so this was an actual venue that made actual space for musicians to play in. And it wasn't just like your larger groups or mid-sized groups, which that's a whole other conversation. But you actually had somewhere that people could go and listen to music and play and check things out. When you have less of that, there is a knock-on effect. You've got rents that go up for people who can't afford to go watch music anymore. They can't live in an area where it would foster that culture and that growing, camaraderie. Here in the inner west, that used to be the place. This is where the punks, the goths, the metalheads, the rockers used to hang out and do things. That's not the case anymore. What happens? Okay, fewer musicians, people have less money. That means you get fewer music stores, which is also something that's happened. I was going down Google Street View the other day, and you can wind it back to a time in the past. And in 2008 through 2010...
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. Thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah. 2008 through 2010, you could go through and you could take a look at Parramatta Road and see how many places used to actually be there. Yeah, we could actually go here, and I go, where is it?
Around Annandale.
Yep.
It was absolute centre of music in Sydney. That's where all the gear was purchased from.
Yep. That was the place. So you end up with fewer stores. Fewer stores means, there's less of a place where people can hang out and check things out and put stuff up on the notice boards. So people just get stuck at home, and we end up with less community, and we end up more depressed.
With a better voice than yours.
Exactly.
Just so you know, everyone, I dragged Six out for 1,000 beers on Saturday, so his voice is a bit buggered still. Oops.
Yeah, he just wanted to make sure that this whole thing didn't work.
Yep.
It's all right, we're fine.
Self-sabotage. Yeah, so I think there's also... this declining birth rates too is a factor. There's just less young people in the city. Plus, when you've got that kind of overinflated real estate, a lot of it goes back to real estate. When you've got that inflated real estate market, then you don't have young families and teenagers and stuff living in the city. It tends to be older property moguls and just better well-off people, and less of the struggling families, and they tend to get pushed out west, out this area. And you are seeing some venues sort of come and go out here, but the problem is there's no real infrastructure for it. You've got massive pubs, none of which are conducive to live music because they just want people to eat their food and fuck off, basically. So a lot of the venues out here aren't really suited to live music like they are in the city, and a lot of these pubs they tend to be in residential areas, so noise is an issue, that's an issue everywhere, but particularly in suburbia, because all these venues are smack bang in the middle of a residential area. There's less. Well, I think what we need to do is make more cities. We need like self-sufficient city hubs further out in the west. I don't think it's going to work in Sydney, spreading the walls of Sydney out until the whole thing's a big city. I think we need like little satellite cities out here that have city-like infrastructure, public transport, that kind of thing.
Well, that's kind of happening, but you're getting a lot more of that, like in urban developments. Like Burwood is being developed. Parramatta is now a second CBD. The problem is that you've also got insane zoning in Sydney now. We unfortunately adopted the American way of doing things. So back before the 70s, that's why you had like pubs on every corner before like the licensing review board came along in like the 30s through the 50s and cleared everything out. But you had a lot more places. You had shops on corners. You had like local areas. But then the zoning changed more and more to go to that American style of doing things where you had like, you live here, you work here, you go shop here. And the zoning changed so much. And a lot of those areas where, especially once the property value started going up, residential property was always growing faster than commercial property. Commercial property was a risk, but residential, there's always someone who needs a house. So people are going to move into the house. They're going to be able to lease it out. So a lot of those commercial areas were converted into residential. So get rid of the shop, put a house there instead. So you end up where it's like, okay, so for me to go out now, I've got to travel all the way out here to go have a night out and then make my way back home. You know, I'm not going to drink and drive. Public transport to these areas is really mediocre after midnight, so I'm not going to stay out late.
Tell me about
it. Especially for you.
I just between you and me, champions. It's not like, this isn't public, is it?
No, not at all. It's only going to be like, you know, close 5-6 people here.
I fell asleep on the train on the way home on Saturday night and woke up at Hazelbrook, which is like a good half hour past my house. And I nearly died from hypothermia standing on the platform after my lovely wife agreed to come and pick me up. She decided she still wants me alive for another week at least.
Yep.
But yeah, the last train home thing is a pain in the arse. That's always been a bit of a issue for going to see live music if you live out west, because the last train's often like 30 minutes before the band finishes. so you got to like see half the headliner and make your way back to the train station, and you're on the train before the last band's even fucking finished. Otherwise you miss the train and you're waiting around till 4 or 5 a.m. to get the next one.
Yep. Or the other thing that you have to do is you have to go out and not drink or participate in anything. And yeah, you can drive and all the rest of that, but then you're spending less money in the venue and...
You spend $80 on a parking ticket.
$80, God, the bargain out that way. It's like 160 out here.
Yeah.
But like going back to what we were saying about like shops and things that have also been affected and how things have changed. So this is Parramatta Road in 2007, right? I used to work just down there, right? Let's see, can you see my little Duvalaka?
Yeah, man.
There we go.
Yep.
So just down there I used to work. I went to Billy Hyde's and I bought myself my first big boy rig back in the day when I had the studio and various things. And so we go down this way. All right.
Blast from the past. Have you been there recently? Damn.
I drive down here every day.
Okay.
So you have Annandale Hotel. I snuck in and watched Kitty there when I was 15.
Oh, man, such a good venue. It was so good.
It was classic. So you had them.
I was so annoyed when they announced that they were just going to do lame ass bistro bullshit where some of the biggest bands I've ever played I've seen. I saw Brant Bjork there and I was like the only person not smoking weed in that venue. And you had the big SVT head and the bass player just stood there staring at his bass amp the whole gig. He didn't even turn around. He was just stoned as hell staring at his bass amp while he was playing. Such a good place.
Here we go. So we stepped up Annandale Hotel. Sydney Guitar Setups, right? So he was like one of the only guys in Sydney that had a plec machine. Now he's down the south coast and he just does things via mail. You got the bass people, an entire double width shop that was just filled with bass stuff. I went in there when I was looking for bass gear for the studio and tried out a really nice Warwick Corvette 5 strings. Beautiful. It was also the first place I got to try a Wilcox bass that had the infrared pickup system. That was fucking wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got the vintage record. Somehow they're still there, but that's because they've ridden out. They started out back then. It was kind of niche because this is 2009, and now obviously vinyl's everywhere.
I mean, some of these places might own the venue too.
No, they don't.
They
don't.
No, they don't. Okay. Because that was the other thing I was going to say. If for whatever reason you've come to own the property, then you can sort of struggle on and just make fuck all. You know?
They don't. Why would they when they can struggle on to do that? Or they can go, I can work 0 hours a week and someone can pay me for renting my shop out. That's the thing that kills it. All right.
Yeah,
all right. So we got Jackson's
it's rare,
Rare
but it
Guitars.
does happen, and they're usually lunatics.
Yeah. We got Jackson's Rare Guitars, which if you jump online and do a search for them, you'll see just how bad that went. He was ripping off a lot of people, like doing lots of dodgy stuff. It was crazy. But that's where you went in if you wanted to buy like a... He didn't, but he kind of did, but he's back in the... I don't know, it's weird. So you got those guys there, right? Over across the road, nothing there. It's just some furniture stuff, but you can see how it's like, it's interesting. There's still some things going on, right? We step down here and we've got Gallon's Guitars. So these guys were the distributors for Epiphone and Gibson, right?
House of Pain Tattoo. What a name for a tattoo place.
Oh, yeah. Classic. So you got them, and they were there for a number of years, and then after Billy Hydes and that took over, he bought them out and then went bust as well, because that's just the way things happen.
I forgot about all of these places, eh? Like,
yeah.
I reckon there's... Because, like, when I was just calling on my memory, I know stupid thing to do, given my memory, but... I remembered about half of these. I didn't realise there's about twice as many as I remembered were there.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Crazy.
There are places that are also, like, they're here for a period of time and then they're gone and all that kind of jazz. So here we are. We're in 2007, 2009. What we got here? We got in 2009. Okay, so we don't have anything on this block because there was a bit of a gap here. There we go. Another music shop that was here, just hanging out there, except they'd gone by that point. So there we go. 2007 was a shop there.
Used instruments, yeah.
Yep. We step up a little further. Whoop, bit far. So we got Music 101. There's another shop that's just there, just hanging around in 2009. So
it's kind of crazy that they ever could make a living, like, because parking was shit. It was on a main road. It was like not convenient to visit these stores, but they still survived that long
because there was so much music
a lot
around.
Of online shopping too.
People would still just come along and check stuff out. You know, what else we got down here? There we go. Downtown Music. They were the last ones standing, and they went out of business last year. Right. So you got them.
Last year was it?
Yeah, just last year. Down here, there was also the bass player, so he did like upright basses and acoustic basses and stuff. And then
Lex from Frenzell used to work there for years.
Yeah. And then further down here as well, around the corner, or is it? Here we go, down here in Leichhardt. Come on, keep going. Leichhardt. Here we go. So around here in Leichhardt, you also had some music stores as well. This was actually what got me going down memory lane, because I was like, there was a shop here. I remember it, and because I went in there and I tried out some stuff, and yeah, Music City and Drum City.
Yeah,
they were a big store as well. They were there, and then you go down a little further up here as well. And where are they? I know they're here, not there. A little further down. Where is it? There we go. And you had Store DJ down here as well.
Yeah.
So you had all of these places along this one section of road surrounded by venues and everything everywhere. And now, along that entire road, I forgot there was Global Vintage as well. They were there for years. Entire road we've been down, not a single music shop left there. None.
Yeah.
They are all gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think online shopping's got a bit to do with that as well. Like I'm saying, there's so many factors all against it, you know? It's amazing to think that there is even a music scene at all, to be honest. And it just goes to show people need that shit. People will fight for it to the best of their ability, but their ability is becoming less than their reality, so... It's look, the government's helping out with some grants, that kind of thing, and there are little pockets of activity, but they're not sustained. They seem to pop up and then they just evaporate as quickly as they appear. A little scintillation of music scene, and like there was one in Penrith for a while there, and then I think it was a post COVID type thing, a stimulus package offered by the government, and I know there's some people in Katoomba that are applying for similar grants to basically create almost like a King Street crawl for Katoomba, because there is enough live venues up there to have that critical mass to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, there's really nothing in Parramatta really. Used to be back in the day, but
yeah,
it's pretty sparse. So you're talking Newtown, Katoomba, and not a hell of a lot in between, and that's a long way away.
Newtown isn't even a thing anymore. Like, the
Not
venues
really.
and the places that used to exist here don't anymore. I mean, the most recent one was the Midnight Special. Nice little small bar here in on the edge of Enmore, right, on Enmore Road. And they, rent went up, landlord went up, the costs went up, and so they had to leave, and they were replaced by yet another Mucho venue that's now just a regular bar. So even though this whole street, right, so Enmore Road is a special entertainment precinct, and there is like no live music along it anymore. That's why I had to close out the shop. I got to the end of my lease. My rent is about to go up massively, and I watched in real time over 18 months the street go from like somewhere where people would come along that were into music, that would see the shop and go, music shop's open at 8 o'clock at night on a Friday night, hell yeah. Or people would come over from across the road at the Enmore Theatre, which I was across the road from, to nothing. I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs going, what the fuck? Like online isn't a thing unless you're a big guy these days. That's why there are so few options, and why everything is getting rolled into one, because the enshittification of the internet and AI and all of that has made it so that unless you spend stupid money to Google and various other platforms, well, the 3 platforms there are, nobody sees your website. You search for something, and even if I know I'm the only one who has it in stock, I don't come up, because that's not how any of it works. And then you've got to compete with like your Amazons and your big guys with the shipping costs. You can't do that if you're a small thing. So the big guys just keep buying up all of the smaller stores and rolling them in. Like,
but like everything, it's going to end up fucking them over too, eventually. But everything's just short term. Everyone's so fucking short sighted at the moment. There's no long play to anything anymore. It just feels like everyone knows the ship's sinking and they're just pilfering what they can. And there's just no long-term goals.
We've gone beyond logic here. We are in an era where everything is infinite growth, infinitely fast. As the old saying goes, the ideal railway company is one that owns no trains and has no tracks.
Yeah.
That is how we are now. We are at a point where they want constant growth. They want insanity. They want big money, big fast. And that's why, like, I still see people online going, why is Fender doing this? Why are they acting the way they are? Stop trying to understand them logically. It's not logical. This is a precedent that was set way back in the day from guys like Jack Welch, who took GE from the largest company in the world that made everything you can imagine to now a husk of a shell, because it was all about share growth and value go up and infinite, and how can we make money by not contributing to the economy?
I just think the fucking stock market needs to be made illegal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just legal gambling. That's all it is.
It is.
Problem is that the rich people happen to have the fingers on the scale to control things.
But line go up, things get worse. Line go up, things get worse. When will people make this fucking connection? It's just so simple, and everyone's just. It feels like you're going crazy some days because it feels like the entire world is in mass hysteria, and if you can sort of see it for what it is, you feel like you're going fucking crazy.
The economy and the stock market are completely different things, but people don't realize that. You know, the stock market is just a line of rich people's feelings, and it makes no sense.
You've got all these fuckwits that, like Pam Bondi, but the Dow. I don't give a fuck about the Dow Jones. And anyone with half a brain wouldn't give a fuck about the Dow Jones either.
Nah, of course not.
It's just, it's all horse shit. But, yeah, anyway.
Yep.
So I got a couple of comments, legends. I'll just scroll back a bit.
Yep.
Robbie's having dinner. Enjoy your dinner, buddy.
Nice.
Not going to call everyone out by name, but hello, everyone. You know I love yous. A lot of familiar names. So, Giants Stadium charged World Cup parking at $3,000. Not a typo. Holy fuck. Christ. People are actually paying that. But again, that goes to show how you've got this, you've probably heard the term K-shaped economy. So you've got people that'll be happy to pay that, but they're not part of the economy. They're above it, you know? But yeah.
The same thing happened with the 2008 GFC. You know, yes, everyone lost money, including rich people. But when a rich person loses 20% of their value and they go from like 2 billion to 1.6 billion, and when the value of everything drops down, they just go, ooh, yay, discount time, and they go buy up everything.
That's right, and then they own everything, and then when the value goes back up again,
and
it's just a ratchet. You do that over and over again, and it tightens the grip on the rest of the world and the real economy until you know there's nothing left. But again, what's the end game? Eventually, we're going to go for these people's heads. And I guess that's where the whole AI surveillance thing's coming in, because they're trying to make sure that they can stamp out any dissent before it occurs. I think that's a large reason behind the flock cameras in the US, that kind of thing. So yeah, just so you know, a flock camera has I think it has about 50 grams of gold and about half a kilogram of copper. Just like, just for no reason, just.
Exactly. It's all right. It's one day that kind of stuff's got to appear here in Australia. You know, we can find it as best we can, but
it feels like it's inevitable at this point. And all of this push for AI and data centers and all of that, I think part of it's just mindless financialization and speculation, but a lot of it is going to be used for that, because that would be the next logical purpose for it to stamp out thought crime, essentially. Jack Welch, nickname Neutron Jack, killed the people and left the buildings. Wow, that's a good name. Thanks, Ted.
He is literally the reason why when a company needs to increase their stock price and that, layoffs come about. He's the man who invented that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole, for those who don't listen, I highly recommend going and checking out the podcast series Behind the Bastards. And they did a whole, I think it was a 2 or 3 parter on him. And yeah, I didn't even realize kind of how it was, and there it is that bad.
Yeah, Behind the Bastards is good. Chapo Trap House is another one that I've been listening to recently. But
Better Offline with Ed Zitron, who covers the absolute clusterfuck that is AI. And speaking of AI, we just can't seem to get away from it. Once again, we've got corporations, like, yes, they're a family-owned company. They're not small. They are someone who is supposed to be there for musicians. And what are they doing? Using AI-generated music to show off their goddamn products. Like,
AI generated to show off their strings. Because, you got... Oh, my God. That's like... it's too stupid to even think of an analogy.
It is.
It's like I don't know. I can't even think of anything. It's so insane. Like, here's a product that you can use to make music. Here's us using an algorithm to make fake music to advertise that product that you will use to make
You remember how people used to get really pissed off that the burgers on the Macca's ads don't look like the way they do when they come out of the box?
Yeah.
This is 10 times worse. Like, what the hell?
It's not even food. It's like, yeah.
And what's worse is that these goddamn chuckle fucks have gone out there and said, oh, no, it wasn't actually AI, it wasn't. But then it's like, okay, if it wasn't AI and you're saying that apparently it was some, staff member who went through and made it and all the rest of that. And
they always blame, they always throw a staff member under the bus, eh?
It's always
Every time
no-name
there's a bad
staff
tweet,
member.
a bad post, a bad take. Oh, yeah, that was our staffer. It's like, no, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and apparently, they're showing the workflow of it, and I'm like, okay, if this is the workflow that what we're seeing, this is also, I'm gonna have my old guy rant for the moment. This right here is why so much modern music sounds like arse. Look at this. Look at how many splices and layers and cuts there are to just this simple track. Back in the day, we used to make music in a room.
This is their actual session.
Yeah. We used to go through,
wow.
we used to make music in a room together. And so it would sound good in a room, and then you go in the studio and you add some overdubs and make something else of it. When people had access to infinite overdubs and infinite records, criticality of what you were making dropped right off. It's kind of the same with photography, whereas now you can take 5,000 photos and not worry, whereas before you had to put a little bit of thought into it and create it. So this is like, okay, if you're saying that this is something that can sound so much like AI music, why would you be using that to show it off then? Why would you not show something that's a bit more natural, a bit more real sounding?
I'll push back a bit on that, because electronic music and like 9 Inch Nails. Imagine seeing one of those sessions that'd be chopped up like fuck.
No, they're not. They're not.
If you can't play that fucker live to a degree that it's still the same song, I feel like you
No, like
probably,
you got to remember, back in the day with that kind of stuff,
it's not going to be memorable as a piece of music. It's got to stick to your head.
Yeah, back in the day, you had the Atari ST sequencer.
Look, the AI thing, I think, one thing that's really pissing me off at the moment is everyone's using it for advertising, and everyone's making those. You've all seen them, the AI style brochures. They all look the same, and everyone's advertising. Using the same look of AI brochure, and to me it means that you couldn't be fucked putting in any effort, man. It's basically just punch in a prompt, a couple of key text points, and then it spits out an ad, and then you think as low of your customers as possible because you don't think anyone's going to notice or care. But it also means that lack of effort, that lack of inspiration is going to carry through to all your different facets of life, including your work. So I'm literally boycotting companies that use that shit now, because it just means you don't care, basically.
The whole thing with AI is that it's basically
anyway.
They want to give people with money access to talent and arts. Yes, can you hear me? I think Brad's lost his audio connection.
Your phone's cut out.
Huh? Hello. All right, chat, can you guys hear me? Anyone? Hello? Yes, AI eats your brain.
You've lost audio, 6.
Have I?
Anyway, in the meantime, assuming that everyone can still hear me, you hear all?
Wait a sec. Let's see what's going on.
There is a delay in the stream, though.
No, I can be heard. Brad, you can't hear me. Your audio's gone funky. Can you hear me? Brad?
Let's try
Oh, fucking hell. We lost Brad. But in the meantime, let's go back to what Brad was saying. When it comes to music and all that kind of jazz, you know, back in the day, yeah, you had electronic music, but you still had to sequence it. You had like the Atari ST, you had like trackers, you still had the instruments in a room that were physically doing their thing. All right, can you hear me now?
I'm back. Yep. Don't know what
There we
happened there.
That was weird. Because, yeah, no, everyone could still hear me on stream, but not you.
Yeah, that was weird.
I know, right? Joys of technology.
Everything went so good during the test.
I know, right?
Damn it.
It's all right. We just iron out the kinks and all the rest of that. It's all fine. But to go back to what you were saying, just quickly, the Nine Inch Nails thing is entirely different because back then you literally had sequences. You were writing it up in a sequencer like the Atari ST, and you had the hardware synths, and you still had to compose it and make it all do its thing so it would stick together. And it was still done, but you'd still record it to, like, even if you were recording to digital, which was, like, at those times, probably like a DAT machine or something, it was still being punched down. So you weren't going through and doing 9 million edits and cutting them infinitely. So you still had to have it so that it all worked together.
I mean, without even seeing that ad, I could probably almost tell you what it sounds like. Just because all of these corporations are so fucking predictable now. Everything's so middle of the road, try and be as like focus group tested, approved as possible. I think just imagine in your head, champions, what that ad sounds like if you haven't heard it yet, and then play it and see how far off what you imagine it is. And I reckon it would be pretty close because in this day and age where everything is at your fucking fingertips, well, what's happening? Everything's starting to sound the same and fucking boring, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's not just old thing good, new thing bad. There are new things that are good, but they're harder to find. And everything that gets shoved down our throat these days looks and sounds the fucking same. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And this isn't just, as Brad said, it's not just old man yells at cloud. Like, there's academic papers that have been written on this, how we've experienced like a collapse in the creativity and what you see on music. So now so many tracks, especially those in like the top 40, are comprised of such similar sounding things. Like, they're all using similar chord structures, same things. They've taken like the ethos of 80s pop and then just like hyper distilled it. Everything is like so similar, and it's the same like band of like a dozen songwriters behind so much of it.
Have you let me just share something with you. Just check that that's going to work. So this is that look I was telling you about. Can you see that?
One sec. Yep, those bloody things.
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere, man. These things. every ugly AI flyer, AI slop, fast, cheap, soulless.
Yep. If I see that
fucking
at
everywhere,
a restaurant
everything
or
on an
something,
angle. Yeah, I just don't go there.
Yep. If I see it at a restaurant or something, my immediate thought is the food is going to be shit. Okay?
Yep.
I would
Just
rather
like
go
this too.
past somewhere that has literally gotten a goddamn Sharpie and a piece of paper and gone, there we go. Because then you're like, all right, at least, you know, if you don't have the money or the budget for those things, great. Or the old classic of like, you know, graphics design is my passion. I'm fully down with those kinds of things because at least it's effort. It's not me going, oh, I don't want to pay an artist or something like that, and I'm not willing to put in the effort to learn anything. I want the results without the effort.
Yeah. Because that's what they're saying about the whole reason AI is getting pushed so hard is because the rich want access to skill and they want to remove the skilled people's access to money. So essentially you've been able to tell they've always had sort of a grudge against those that are talented because they didn't like the fact that they felt like they were sort of being held hostage for their services with money. And they like all rich psychopaths, think they should be entitled to everything. So it seems like there's a massive push now. Yeah, there's a massive push now because they're realising that time's limited, probably because the economy's on the way out, and they just need to do a big cash grab at the end. But time will tell. Hopefully the bubble pops, man. It's gonna hurt, but it's better than if it doesn't.
It is going to explode something fierce. And, you know, guys like Ed Zitron have been covering this for so long, and everyone's like, oh, no, nothing's going to happen. It's all going to be fine. Bullshit. It is like...
It can't. It's a mathematical certainty that it's got to stop at some point. As insane as everyone is, it can't keep going.
No. No, you can't. But
So
these people want to
to
pretend
me,
it
to me, I think because everyone knows we're fucking leftists, right? There's plenty. Look, if you don't like us being leftists, there's plenty of other podcasts that are fucking very hard the other way, mate. It's all good. Horses for courses, but it goes back to the leftism thing that leftists are just right, but too early. They're always correct, but too early.
Yeah.
So later on, everyone agrees with them, but they vilify them and out and ostracize them until it's too late to deny. I mean, for example, look at the reflecting pool shit. They just agreed yesterday that there is no vandalism. Go back and look at all the videos when they're like vandals. Like, how the fuck are we supposed to believe anything these people say? They just and all of a sudden the MMR vaccines. Oh, today they're saying take the vaccine. You got to take the vaccine. It's like, well, you were saying for the last 6 years not to take the vaccine, motherfucker. So what the fuck? So like, how does anyone defend this behavior? They contradict themselves in the same fucking sentence. Like, how are we supposed to believe anything they say? But people do, and then later on they'll say, oh, I can't believe that everyone went along with this. It's like, oh, I can believe it. Totally believe it. It's mass hysteria. It's always the way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, we're not exactly red-pilled in any kind of way, shape, or form because, well, first of all, we have souls, and second of all, we believe that, the enrichment of humanity.
We have
souls. Oh, my God, data centers.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it's... everyone's going to agree with us in time, and they'll pretend that they always did, and that's the most frustrating part. Everyone will pretend that they were against all of this, and I'll be like, no, you weren't. I got the screenshots, motherfucker. It's the age of the internet. Can't hide that shit. Fuck you.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll remember everyone that was for where we are at the moment.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is that there is also the whole thing of you got the information pipeline. It's more controlled now than it was in the past. So you've got the crazy psychos who like their conspiracy theories and sharing all that shit out there. And then you've got those who have their vested interests. Both sides have vested interests. It's just one side knows and the other side doesn't.
Yeah. The other thing is that's starting to... I don't know how I stand on this one, but there's some people I'm still in touch with that were massive conspiracy theorists when COVID just broke everyone's brain, right? And now they're going, see, I was right about this, I was right about that. It's like, yeah, that one little thing you cherry-picked you were right about, but you used that as a chariot to get in all your other fucked up theories, yeah, it's just... Because you're right about one thing doesn't mean the whole thing forms together into this big conspiracy that you dreamt up. It's the world's a crazy place, and some of these possibilities become certainties over time. But it's the whole see, I was always right about everything is always horseshit as well.
Yeah.
Anyway. That went down a dark path pretty quickly.
Yes. So let's go to something that's not quite so dark, and let's just laugh at the insanity that is these bloody silly companies and their AI and their crap music and just.
I love it. I love it how when we say we're leftists, everyone starts calling us communists too. They don't even know what the fucking word means. Anyway,
it's all right. It's all right. I do. I'm more in the the libertarian socialist, I suppose, if you were going to say anything, But trying to sum up anyone's political ideologies in
with two
simple
words.
Phrase is just it's dumb.
Good things are good, bad things are bad.
I like
Crazy,
good things. Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ted saying, scientists dream of an Internet 2.0 without complete commercialization. Genie back in the bottle. We had Internet 2.0. It was amazing. That was that period from 2008 through 2015, around that kind of ballpark, where suddenly it was not just tech nerds like us who were out there visiting weird websites, or like, you know, back when I was a young weeb and nerd on the dark reaches of the internet, hanging out on like, you know, Newgrounds and Albino Black Sheep and 4chan and all that kind of jazz. It became somewhere where like communities grew and the most amazing things happened. MySpace, how many bands did we discover from that? Like just seeing
Do you hear they're
things.
bringing it back?
Yes, and I'm looking at it going, it is going to be fucking garbage and no one is going to go on it.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, with how shit all the major social media platforms are getting, maybe people will give it a try.
No, they won't. It's the same reason why
No?
nobody went on Blue Sky. It had a bit of a
Yeah.
pickup and people were like, yeah, this is cool, and then everyone left. That's
What do you think that is? Why do you think Blue Sky didn't take off?
For the same reason that Facebook still has so many people on it, is because it's the cost.
Is it engagement bait?
Well, no, it's the cost of changing over, right? If you leave Facebook, those people who you used to hang out with and chat to, and people who maybe you don't see all the time or whatever, but you still got connection to, they're still on that platform. Now, if you go over to Blue Sky or something, you're not going to see them. Here's something that's fucked up, right? And the reason why Facebook became as popular as it did, right? A lot of people don't realize this, but when Facebook first started, one of the reasons they got so many users was they said, hey, here's a plugin that we've just made. Here's an app you can jump onto. Log in your MySpace details. We'll transfer all of your friends over from MySpace and transfer all of your details so that you can see.
And didn't they try to do that to Facebook and he sued them in the fucking oblivion?
That's correct. Other platforms tried to do it and they said, no, you can't.
I mean, in this day and age, like, how long would it take? It'd be like an hour's work.
Yeah.
To copy everyone over. But yeah.
But no.
I don't know. I think a lot of people, I'm just seeing some mates that just don't use anything social media anymore. They're just disconnected. It's just too annoying. And fuck, I envy them.
Yeah. I mean, part of the reason why I dropped out of, like, I don't use Facebook for the business anymore. There's no point. No one's seeing anything.
No.
And then when I do post up stuff, it's like, okay, great. You guys keep asking me to pay money for anyone to see anything. Fuck it. People still find me through my website and they contact me that way. All right, I'm just going to continue going on with that.
Yeah. I've had I don't know, anyone that follows me on social media will know that my account got, like, not suspended, but, like, restricted on Facebook. And for no reason at all. I hadn't even really posted anything. So it was clearly an error, because a week later or whatever, when I asked to review the situation, they reversed it. And it's almost like they gave me a little algorithmic boost as a consolation prize. Because normally I'd post something like photos of an amp or something, some particular issue, and you might get like 20 likes, maybe 5 comments. Man, the last one was like 200 comments. It was insane. But it followed that same rule of all social media, where the first couple of responses are sort of pretty cordial and whatever, and then someone says something and people argue and it's back and forth, and before you know it, they're calling each other names and shit. I'm just like, oh my god, you're like packed off today. Just chill. Just people have got to start to realize that you have to treat each other on all platforms the way you would talk to people in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make computer monitors that have like a fist that comes out and punches you in the face if you act like a cockhead.
The old saying,
You know, like-
you wouldn't say anything online that you wouldn't say anything in person. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I already live via that.
I'm just imagining like an old Looney Tunes cartoon where a fist comes out of the screen and punches you in the face if you act like an asshole.
Yep.
So yeah, MySpace is still going. Satch Mo Eddie. Seth.
You can still log into it, but there was a massive data loss that happened years ago. So like I went to go look at my
really?
profile, and all of the images and all of everything is all gone.
Oh, okay. Do you reckon
Yeah.
they did it on purpose just for cost?
No, it was actually they were moving over to a different server, and the backups all got deleted as well.
Fuck, the amount of data, even on just MySpace, but it blows my mind the amount of, like, YouTube. The amount of data is just unfathomable.
Yeah.
Unfathomable. Like, high definition video, 20 years old, just I don't even know how they store it. It's insane.
Yeah.
Sometimes with Facebook, Facebook actually went back and deleted all their videos a while back. Did you realise that? Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to do it
they,
from the 30th of August as well for all your old listings on the
Because
thingy.
they didn't want to have to deal with all that data storage. So
Yep, that's why I've been
apparently,
downloading all of my shit.
YouTube has the ability to do it, but Facebook's not big enough apparently.
Yep, you know, they want all their money all constantly.
Yeah. Never use Facebook and never will. That's good, Robbie.
Smart
What else
move.
do you use, though? Anything? You're on YouTube, so you can't be completely pure of heart.
Totally can.
Justin Timberlake bought MySpace. Really? You sure? Or did he just buy into it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he was all pumped up after his role in the social network, so he had to
Was he
own
in
a
that?
platform after that. Yeah, he acted. Oh, hang on, he was he the MySpace owner in that?
No, that was Jesse Eisenberg.
No, he was Facebook. He was Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
There was like the guy from no, he was Napster.
Oh,
He was the Napster owner in that, I
right.
believe. Back when he was on a high. Didn't last long. Thanks, Metallica.
But honestly, I'm gonna say this: Metallica was right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we all treated them like cockheads back then, but I mean, if they had better PR and they said, look, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for all the other artists. We don't give a fuck. In fact, if we win anything, we'll donate it. They didn't really do that. So they could have been an easy win. I don't know why they didn't do that. That was weird. But
Yeah, it was the old days. Yeah, it's the way things were, but, you know. What can you do?
Ted's talking about the AI scraping the data from those rare books and then they burn the books. It's insane.
Yeah, you know what's really fucked up? Is that the reason why they can do that is because of a wonderful court case that basically said, oh, what they're doing is they are actually transforming it. And so it fell under copyright.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, are you serious?
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
The world we live in.
I love the current world that we live in. Everything has to be like, you know, just made so much better. God only knows what's going to be going on.
Well, anyway, bright start to the week, champions.
Hells yeah.
What do you got on the workbench at the moment?
At the moment, I am currently working on just a stack of warranty jobs and repairs. I've got some Black Star stuff, some bloody lab gripping things. What else am I working on today?
How
Today
are Black
is
Star going these days? I haven't seen a lot of Black Stars recently. I'm assuming that's because they've sorted some problems out.
Well, no, it's more so that just most of their stuff these days is digital. Just digital throwaway
okay.
type things, yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess that probably brings us to our subject for the next episode, which is the manufacturing. I know everyone wants to start a podcast about fucking Bud Cole at the moment, but frankly, I don't really want to look at that fucking dude's head.
He looks so skeezy. Like
he looks like an alien in a skin suit, a badly fitted one.
Yeah.
Because you know when they give you a skin suit and like a disguise for like, you know, prank shows or whatever, the one part they really struggle to get right is the part where it goes to your eyes, and that's what his fucking eyes look like. They look like piss holes in the snow.
Oh my god.
There's just something not right about him, eh? He's just unsettling, man. The way he speaks and the way he acts. But
just
all these fuckers are like skinwalkers, whatever you call them. Just fundamentally ill-equipped to do his job. I don't know how he's still in there. Do you reckon he'll get booted?
Oh, no, of course not. God, no. This is the thing,
Keep
like,
him on 'cause he's...
this is why I say, right? People need to stop thinking that this stuff is logical. None of it is logical. It is all entirely illogical because we can't understand how these people think and what they're doing. These are people.
But how do you invest? Like, just if you're purely from an investor's point of view, when there's no logic, how the fuck do you plan for the future?
By insider trading.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm applying logic to not having logic. Fuck.
Yeah. Stop doing that. It is, you've got to look, you either take a risk on something that could go up or down or whatever, and you like maybe think, okay, something's going to be doing okay. For example, right? Everyone's going, oh, AI. How many people thought that like 18 months ago that the smartest thing to do would be to invest in SK Hynix, who have gone up like 1,000% in like 4 months?
I mean, I guess looking back, it's pretty logical. Like, there's going to be... So I didn't expect them to just stop manufacturing shit for the public. Like, to me, that means... Fuck. That's not promising.
Yeah.
So basically, they're trying to... What does that tell you in the long run? Well, basically, they're trying to make sure that you don't own a computer in the future.
That's one of the things they're trying to do, yeah.
They're going to make it so you don't even own your own fucking computer.
Yeah.
You're just using cloud
all in
everything.
the cloud. Yeah.
So that means they can easily take away your ability to have a computer by just not allowing you onto the cloud, right? Yeah. So they can basically send you as an individual back to the fucking Stone Age if they feel like it. That, I think, is what the long-term goal probably is to make... Because, you've said everyone knows that you will own nothing and you will be happy, blah, 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 right? But when it comes to the computer, having individuals owning computers is a big setback to them. It gives you a lot of power that they don't want you to have. And and the fact that they're not manufacturing at all for the public, GPUs, and possibly in future CPUs and memory chips. Also because this circular economy, where you've got companies buying other companies to sell products back to themselves and all this clusterfuck, double Dutch rudder, backdoor, reach around bullshit. I reckon it won't be possible to buy a computer in 10 years.
I reckon there'll still be some of that because you're going to end up with... I mean, there's... The whole thing with like the dot-com bubble, right, is that part of the reason why it crashed and ended up things went so wild was that in the end, when it crashed, there was still like fiber laid in the ground in the US. So you had a lot of companies that were laying fiber everywhere it worked well.
Yeah,
once
there was infrastructure.
the AI crashes, right, most of the stuff, there's going to be nothing. But there's going to be a lot of leftover RAM, a lot of leftover GPUs that people will use for their own things. And then prices will go down. Half the reason why like Samsung and SK Hynix are making as much money as they are right now and paying like even factory production workers like $100,000 bonuses is because nothing changed with their cost. Their base cost line for making the RAM and other components is still roughly the same. Gone up a little bit. It's not like it was when it was in COVID and there was shortage of materials. Now it's just the demand. And when you've got like these companies like Clammy Sammy Altman from OpenAI, who's going out there and going, we need X amount of like RAM and that we're buying it up in such a huge quantity, they can just basically name their price, which is what they did. Which is what also fucked things like the Steam machine and like, personal computing and all the rest of that. And everything is getting way more expensive. I'm just glad that in our case, our guitar amps and digital things we deal with don't really deal with that much DRAM.
Yeah. I had a thought there and it's gone. It's funny that.
Couldn't have been that
after
important.
A bender. So people are starting to adapt. Well, basically the GPU form factors that they use for these servers, they're not designed to be in part of a personal computer, right?
Yeah.
So they're designed to be in purpose-specific processing racks, essentially, if you dumb it down. But the individual repurposing of them is going to be limited as a result too. So it's not like you can just fucking desolder the DRAM chips without a BGA bloody rework station. This shit is going to be obsolete before the AI crashes. It's obsolete already. warehouses full of GPUs that are already obsolete that haven't even been implemented yet. It's insane. It's just the
you
whole.
mean the ones that have never actually been installed and used that are being sold around in the circular economy amongst the 5 companies up top?
Right. They haven't even been powered up yet. They probably never will. It's just when you scratch below the surface of this AI bubble, it becomes anyone that doesn't think it's a bubble, do a bit of scratching, and it will. The numbers are fucking insane. Again, mass hysteria. It's going to be spectacular when it crashes. It's going to be entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's going to be
very bad,
wild.
but it's going to be entertaining. Like everything in 2026, it'll be bad, but it'll be funny.
Yes. Funny but bad. I can deal with that, you know. All right, you know what? You know what? Hold up, go back. There we go.
I don't know shit.
You don't know shit, really? Where's my things? No, where'd they go? You bastard. All right. Since we've been talking about all the wonderfully depressing things and all the rest of that, let's do something a bit more fun. All right.
Seppo Marx, I'm going back to investing in tulips.
Yum
Good
yum.
one.
Tasty
Good
tulips. Okay, so you and I, we both work in the wonderful industry that is musical instruments, and of course we both repair things. We also do all that kind of jazz. We try to. Are you familiar with what a tier list is?
A tier list?
Tier list. T-I-E-R.
Tier list.
Tier list, yes. All right. Let's do a tier list of brands, right?
Ooh.
Oof. So what we're talking about is brands and companies, right? And we've got to look at them holistically. So we're talking the overall quality of the products that we see, what they're like as a company to deal with, parts, servicing, availability, all that kind of jazz, and whether or not kind of we think that they're worth it, whether we'd recommend them to people. All right?
Okay.
All right. So let's start with the big bad boy. Let's start with Gibson. I think we both know where this is going.
I mean, I haven't dealt much with their support. One thing I sort of started doing when I was starting out was just assuming that the manufacturers wouldn't help me at all. So a lot of these companies, I've got no interaction with their support system whatsoever. So I couldn't really comment on Gibson's support. In terms of their product quality, they are not premium products, in my opinion. But
I believe the word you're looking for is
products.
garbage.
I wouldn't say they're garbage because they work. They do last. But things like the headstock brakes and that, everyone knows that Gibson headstocks are delicate. The finish is not great on a lot of them. You can tell they sort of rushed the finish in terms of sanding and buffing and stuff. The frets, you're paying $6,000 for a guitar, and then the frets have got like Scotch-Brite finish that's scratchy when you bend the notes. The fretboards have like blunt razor marks where they go through and they try and roll the fretboard edge, but the razor blade that they use is like 10 years old, so it's got notches in the razor blade.
Yep.
And it's just like, get a new fucking razor blade, man.
So what you're telling me is that a $6,000 product is built
I'd pay
worse.
$2,000 for it, maybe.
Even then I wouldn't. But like,
Maybe
let's look at the
$1,500.
whole company. Let's look at like the absolute clusterfuck that is like the Epiphone products that have been coming out and they've been shoving out the door. You know, those kinds of things. Like, in my opinion, what I would say is that Gibson goes into D tier as a brand.
Oh, fuck.
I wouldn't recommend them to anyone. I'm not going to be as diplomatic as you are because I've seen like the quality in that, and like let's be honest, the best Les Paul that you're ever going to play isn't made by Gibson. There are so many other companies that do the same thing better and cheaper. And I mean, even Heritage, until they were acquired by private equity.
Yeah. Heritage were great.
Yeah, they did brilliant stuff. Like, what makes a Gibson unique other than the bloody headstock logo, and even the shape? Other countries can do it, but like, I swear, if I have to see one more bloody clip on the line of play original. Eat my ass. No.
Yeah.
Especially
Which
when you get
brings
as
us to
litigious as what you do with like shapes that have been genericided for the most part for decades. Like,
Yeah.
that's just insanity.
I'm getting really sick of the commentary on all of that. It's just, we all know what they're doing. We all know why they're doing it. Can we just fucking move on? But yeah, but Gibson also, I guess the next logical one would be Messer, because now they own Messer. And the Messer's famous tagline was art, spirit of art in technology.
Spirit of arse in technology.
So a lot of the techs have a good laugh about that. Considering their massive oversights, the copy pasting of schematics, sticky taping things together until they make noise and then sending them out the door. It's crazy.
Yep.
The fact that the Mark II C Plus like oscillates at certain settings on the showroom floor, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely insane. And like,
The thing could blow itself up without even plugging a fucking guitar into it.
yeah, like,
Like, if
I'm
you set
amazed the
aside
service
oscillates and
agents.
just
I
leave it
know,
there.
like I know that their designs are just ridiculous. It's
Fucking
insane.
insane.
Yeah, like just oh my god. But the worst part is like you got all the old designs and the old ways they were running things, and they were still being litigious as hell, trying to sue people for dumb things or things that have been patented by others.
Well, it goes back to the fact he tried to patent a master volume, for fuck's sake. It's pre-existing technology.
Yep.
Like, stick that up your ass. Anyway, but I was talking about Ed Zitron. I'll send you that link to that interview he did. Being a hater of a product or a brand or a philosophy, it takes work, man. It's not just a matter of us sitting here and going, that's fucked because I said it's fucked. We have receipts and we've got reasons, and I'll talk to you about that shit all fucking day long. But people don't want to talk about it. They just want to call you a hater and then move on to try and discredit you.
Yep.
Being a hater requires a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of experience. In my opinion, if someone's got a strong opinion and they're a tech, they're qualified to have that opinion. If someone's not a tech or they don't have any experience with, the company itself or its products, then maybe it's arguable that they're just doing it for the sake of it. But all us techs, we do have good reasons for hating these things.
It's like, well, one thing I always say to people, right, is they go, oh, but I've been playing for 45 years and, I know this stuff. It's like, okay, great. I'm sure you've been driving longer than your mechanic as well, but your mechanic knows things that you don't. That is just, like, that is what happens with stuff. We've seen the ins and outs of these, and we can look at them and critique them and go, if they did this, if they did that. But the one thing I will say, right, for Mesa, their cabinetry is phenomenal.
Yeah. I was just talking to a customer about that last week, actually. He said he found one of their 2x12s. I said, man, their cabinets are awesome.
Yep.
But buy anything cabinet-wise, no problem at all. It's the strongest point of their amps is their cabinetry.
And the one thing that they did right as well is that they had a specific code for the Vintage 30 that was done for their specs using specific paper and cone and all the rest of that, paper and coil. And when Celestion shipped all manufacturing for the V30 offshore, Mesa turned around and said, no, we want the same ones made in the same way. And so they kept making them in the UK, their code in the UK factory. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I will give that to them, and as such, I think they go in C tier. They're not shit. Not fully shit. Like, the amp side, meh. Their support is non-existent because of their buddy, crappy schematic diagrams that they don't, annotate properly, and then they'll also put specific mistakes in there. All of us techs have all found something in them at some point that we've lost way too much time to, and there are some products which, for example, as a service tech, I can't get schematics for. The only fix is to send them back to the US.
Yeah,
which is insane.
I mean, if customers knew that when they bought it, they might not buy it, but they cover that shit up until you've got an actual problem, and then they let you know the bad news then.
Problem is that even when you do tell people that, they don't want to listen. They don't care.
Yeah. They get excited.
They want products that they think that they're their like idols and that played, when so many of them played different gear. I remember still one of the classics is everyone goes on about how like Korn were all about the triple rectifier and all the rest of that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, actually their first album was recorded with a Plexi and their like most famous album, Life is Peachy, Follow the Leader, was done with a Rivera Bonehead, a very rare amp that Rivera made about 80 of that were a signature model for Steve Lukather.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but people automatically think, oh, Mesa triple rectifier. It's like that was in their like live rig and that when they're in the studio was a different thing. It's the same as like people think about the Rolling Stones and using like a Telecaster and a Tweed amp and stuff like that. But some of the most classic tones were through a Mesa Mark II.
Yeah.
You know, they're Mark II and an amping guitar.
One of my customers is he's in a Stones cover band, but he's a Stones Tragic, and he bought the same amp, the Mark II, just to get that sound. That was before they bloody shot up in value. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on to.
Let's jump over a little bit. Let's go to something I think that we can both agree on. Yamaha. Automatic S tier. Don't argue with me on that. Yamaha are like the prime example of a company that cares about their consumers, cares about their products, and does things in a Japanese way, but in the good Japanese way, not the as in we're going to work people to death kind of way, as in the everything is slow and calculated, and we'll do what we can to foster like the overall community. For example, a lot of people don't realize Korg was on the verge of bankruptcy. They almost were about to go. What happens? Yamaha swooped in and said, here is a stack of money. Make products for us, design things. We will make products for you and share our facilities. And kept the company going. And when it got back on its own feet and was all sorted,
can you imagine an American company doing that?
Oh, God, no. They sold the company back to the owner. And here's another thing, right? Once Sequential Circuits went out of business, they bought up the name. They owned Sequential Circuits, which is how they ended up with the VS Yamaha technology. Does. Did. Because what happened was Dave Smith started DSI, Dave Smith Instruments, and all the rest that was getting along. And Yamaha gave him back the trademark. There you go.
Yeah, right.
Like
for
that is
Behringer to Steel.
Yeah, like they do this kind of stuff, and that's what they do. They've got their supply chains, they've got their like people that they work with that works well. But the other thing as well is that they treat their customers well in two main ways. Firstly, I was up until last year doing repairs on a range of Arius models that unfortunately left the factory with a defect, and so almost all of them would fail. So I would go out and I would actually repair those models and fix them up. The model came out in 2008.
Yeah, well.
Yamaha had a no questions asked, they will get it sorted. They've finally ended that program because they're like, okay, parts now for those ones, we can't do them anymore. But we fucked up. Yeah. We're going to fix that. So it was just a straight up, you had that problem. They tried to contact everyone, but the ones that were still out in the wild, they got them sorted. And that goes into the second half, which is they will keep parts going as long as possible. The same parts in a Yamaha S90, the S90 and the Motiv 8 both have the same key bed as the modern models. I can interchange
it's a good
parts
idea the
from
way
them.
they do it, eh?
Yeah.
You got less SKUs to manage, less production plants, less dies to manufacture for the injection molding, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It makes sense.
They'll change things if it's like worthwhile. So like their newest version of their top of the range stage pianos, they don't have rubber contact domes in the key bed now. They're using a tuned coil, so the underside of the key has a little metal plate on there. It comes close to a tuned coil like a theremin.
Oh wow.
Which allows you to have no mechanical parts to wear out on them. Way more accurate. The weighting you can change, all of that, but you can also have individual per note polyphony. So you can have full per channel polyphony, per note polyphony, which is insane for something like that. And they've reduced the part count, making it more reliable. and better quality,
Yeah.
which is insane. Like, and then when we step over to like the guitars, their guitars are always phenomenal. Like, you pick up a Revstar, it's an amazing guitar. You pick them up off the wall, you get them shipped out to shops, and they're most often amazing. They're acoustics.
I think they've almost succeeded in making the Revstar somewhat iconic, eh? Like it's become its own thing now.
Yeah.
I don't see that many. There's not heaps out here, but when I do, yeah, they are pretty impressive for the price point as well.
Yeah.
I know Lyle had one, and he just didn't gel with it, so I think he ended up getting rid of it. But it is what it is. He doesn't like PRSs either, but people love them. So
I love Yamaha's guitars, but like the Pacifica, which I still can't believe. Like, I knew Fender was going to pull this shit at some point, but you know, of course they're going after them for the Pacifica. But like the original Pacificas were a phenomenal design, and they're weird.
How do you think that'll go? Yamaha versus fucking Fender.
Honestly, the American
like
legal
4
system.
times the size of Fender.
Yeah, but then again, you've also got Servco, which are the big arms behind it. They're also fighting in the US. This is what I said in my video that covered things. Don't stop thinking logically. Stop thinking that the law applies equally in all cases, because all it takes is one judge to get things in a particular way and go, no, yeah, that's fine, and then appeal, and then the next judge, okay, yep, no, it's still the right decision. That's how you end up with stupid decisions all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
speaking of usual things, just commented. Speaking of Japan made guitars, Hamamatsu houses both Tokai and Yamaha manufacturing, and they're fantastic. Yeah, we went to Six and I went to Hamamatsu when we went to the Yamaha museum.
Yep.
We did some video footage there. It was a little bit rushed. Do you still have that video?
Yeah, I'm gonna edit it at some point.
Yeah. Come on, mate. It's only been 2 years.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, like Yamaha are just solid.
Did you want to move on to... Let's leave Fender for the moment. I don't want to talk about Fender at the moment.
It's all right. I do. I always want to talk about that, but we'll leave. We'll save the best to last. But just going through the comments here, TK saying, I've had experience with Yamaha's Australian distro, which also covers Ampeg and other things, and Taylor. Both were responsive, but with weeks and months between communications. Yamaha used to be a lot better, but they did have a massive staff change, which ended up losing a bunch of experienced staff. They've gotten a lot better on that now, thankfully. But the thing is they're always willing to assist people, and they were the first company that actually come out and go, we're getting ahead of these new laws. When someone reaches out to us and they want service documents, they will give them now. However, there's 2 versions of the documents. There's the ones for just your average consumer and your average person, which is like an overarching service document, block diagrams, troubleshooting, basic stuff. And then there's the in-depth service ones for service agents like myself, which have all of the schematics and that for component level shooting. Like, no other brand so far has done that, and they've just done it of their own volition. Taylor, I have had issues with them because I couldn't get neck shims for them to do a neck reset on one of their guitars. They told me I had to go through one of the local guys, and they would never provide them to me. But in the US, you can buy them from Taylor direct. You just go to Taylor and call them up and go, hey, I want the neck shim kit, and they'll sell them to you. It's insane.
It's like a little gatekeeping thing. I normally don't like the term gatekeeping, but it fucking totally is in that case. It's like we've got this one hard to manufacture part that we know there's nothing like, no IP or anything involved with it. It's just a fucking bit of wood that's slightly angled, that's laser cut. I'm starting to think we should just fucking make our own, eh?
Yeah.
But that's really annoying. It's just everything's good about your brand, but now I can't recommend it because of that scummy behaviour. Like everything else you do is great, but that one little Achilles heel that you held back means now I can't recommend your fucking instruments. And it's just like, man, it's not rocket science. It's a sliver of wood, for fuck's sake. Just sell them to...
just make it easy,
man.
You'll sell them to people in the US. Why not sell them here? But let's get to them in a minute.
You're disrespecting your customer by doing that. You're making life hard for them unnecessarily. You're just being a pain in the ass just for the sake of it. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Since we're already there, let's take Taylor, and let's discuss him quickly. That shim thing pisses me off. One thing that I do love, right, about Taylor, Actually, two things. First of all, Bob Taylor is a legend. He's done some amazing stuff for like the modern design of the acoustic guitar. But more importantly, he is a man who has basically, figured out that we have finite resources on this earth and wants to protect them, which is why he was the one who was basically put in control of the world's supply of ebony and said, why the hell are we getting rid of perfectly good wood just because it has streaks or doesn't have the color in there?
Yeah.
No more. And what he did was
great.
he came out and started marketing it. Hey, Pale Moon Ebony. Look at it. It's the same stuff, but it looks cool. And suddenly the waste went from like 90% to like 10% because it stopped it. He wanted to make sure that was good. He was working with alternative woods and making sure that like processes were done better. But then the next thing that happened is that like he ended up, him and the CEO and the company went and did the anti-Fender, the anti-Gibson, and they sold the company to the staff. Every staff member who comes in owns a portion of the company. They are all equity holders in where they work, which means that instead of having to appease...
That's communism.
Yeah, I know. Instead of trying to having to appease a board of directors and shareholders, if times are tough and things are lean, people down bottom can go, okay, you know what? I'll take a bit of a hit here to keep the company going so I've got ongoing work. But it's also where they came up with things like I was watching the Phil McKnight interview with them and discussing how they covered through. And I'm just like, that's fucking genius. You wouldn't have a corporation going, you know what? Let's make handles for knives. Why? It doesn't make us enough money. Let's make guitar cases for other companies and keep it in-house. Why? It doesn't make us enough profit. We need more. Whereas this, they went, how can we use our staff, our equipment, and keep using things that are there to keep bringing in the revenue to ensure that this company continues even during industry downturns, even when we're not there. Diversifying the base, diversifying what's there.
Yeah, it's a smart way of doing it. You sort of, unless you've got massive stacks of capital behind you, you kind of got to do that to a degree, which is sort of how I ended up here, repairing all sorts of things, manufacturing bits and pieces and shipping shit worldwide. It's like, I was so worried that one revenue source might dry up that I sort of started multiple ones to get that resilience up. And yeah, sometimes I wonder why I did it, but it's good to know.
I think you might have spread yourself a bit thin there. It's what I do.
Yeah, maybe.
I grew the business from nothing, and I had the retail, I had the 2 locations, I had my music school and everything. I also had a series of events outside that fucked me up, so made things a lot harder. But I would say with Taylor, with how they do things and all the rest of that, they are great. But that neck shim thing and those little bits and pieces.
That's what I'm saying. It's just an Achilles heel. Everything else is good except that. But it could just be an Australian thing, in which case it got sorted out.
It's everywhere that isn't America.
Right.
Which is annoying. So for me, that knocks them down a point, and they get to go in A tier, though. A is pretty good.
Okay.
All right. Just go through some comments here quickly. What do we got here? Going up, blah, 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 blah. I was looking at something just before. What about Korg? Yeah, I might add them to the list. Let's see, we've got Robbie here. Headstock thing doesn't bother me. That'll be in regards to when we were discussing about Gibson. Don't drop your guitar and keep it safe when you're not playing. Disagree with you on that part because there's no reason to have a one-piece neck because it adds nothing to the overall function of sustain or anything with the guitar. The reason why they did that way back in the day was because guitars were like Monel wound flat wounds that were heavy gauge and had a very short envelope, so you needed as much vibrational transfer as possible. We have nickel-plated light gauge steel strings today that will sustain if you just look at them in a particular way. Headstock shape, I don't care about that. It's neither here nor there to me. And honestly, I loved Epiphone until like 5 to 7 years ago. I would recommend Epiphone every day of the week. Someone comes to me and goes, hey, I want a Les Paul shaped guitar, go buy an Epiphone. Brilliant, especially if you can find one 10 years old. $300, phenomenal. It's the same as Fender. I used to turn around and say to people the best guitar that you could buy for the money was an HSS Mexican Strat. It would do everything. I could take one of them out to a fucking covers gig and play everything from Judas Priest to Cold Chisel to bloody like funk music and all the rest of that on
Chili
one
Peppers.
guitar.
Yeah.
It was one guitar, and it was built well. It was made using like things that were a bit like smarter. Like the bodies were made of like up to 11 pieces of wood with laminate on top and back to make them look the part. But they were built well. The hardware was okay. The electronics were okay, and they cost
For a while.
next to nothing.
For a while, I was recommending Mexican Fenders over US Fenders because US Fenders was such terrible quality, and the fretwork was the main downfall.
Yep.
And the fretwork on the Mexicans was literally better.
Yeah.
But now they're shit too.
They were good. Yeah, and
So
was,
again,
it
they've
was
just
annoying.
gone with Scotch Brite finish on everything. And it's just, man, as soon as you bend that note the first time, you just you get that scritch as you bend the string across the fret. Insane.
And you got Joe
And
saying,
lacquer on the fretboard face because they don't mask them or they don't mask them properly, so you end up with overspray all over the fucking fretboard face. Just ridiculous.
That's the way Leo did it though.
Yeah.
Here we go. We've got Joe saying there's a lot of general hate for the big brands out there, not all entirely justifiable. A couple of years ago, I would have agreed with you. There are some brands out there that irk me for various reasons, but there's also a lot of consolidation in the industry. So now the big guys own each other, and you've got like companies like Behringer that kind of do their thing, and yes, they bring products to market that others don't necessarily like do anymore or have abandoned. But you've got them also just blatantly copying other companies, which sucks. And then you've got like the big companies like In Music that just make support for their products non-existent. Real headache.
Yeah.
Got Seppo Mark saying he wants to track down a Yamaha T100. They are cool. They were designed by Mike Soldano. Yamaha's like
that's the one with the motorized pots, is it?
No, that's the X88R. Sorry, X99. X99. Sorry, X88R was the 3-channel one.
Yeah, that was. I think that was Soldano design too, wasn't it?
Which one?
The one with the motorized pots.
Yeah, that was combination between him and Caswell. So the X99 was Mike's preamp design, and Caswell did the electronic side of things with the motorized volume controls and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's see, we got other things here. Joe asking, interested in my opinion on the keybed in the industry. Keybed is industry leader. For me, it's always going to be Yamaha, just because I can still repair them and sort them. They are just the best. Fatar keybeds, everyone uses them, but getting parts is a real pain in the ass. And then, of course, you got some of the others that are a bit outliers, but I'll always say Yamaha is kind of where it's at. Let's see, what else we got? Yes, Yamaha U3 upright is a brilliant upright piano, which is awesome. Let's see, Korean or Chinese, Tokai 335 is apparently great. Yes, they certainly are. Absolutely amazing. The traditional series were brilliant, and when Grace acquired Tokai and then got rid of all offshore manufacturing, that hurt me because I was a Tokai dealer. And I've actually been over to Grace's warehouse now because I used to deal with the company previously. So,
Right.
Yeah. So on to the next brand from that. We're talking about all the, the brands that people know and everything, and ones that's really exploded has been PRS, Paul Reed Smith.
I respect
thoughts?
PRS. I like them.
Yep.
Again, I haven't dealt much with their, support, but I've got a few customers that have, in terms of like upgrades or bits and pieces, and I think it was relatively frictionless from memory. But yeah, they stand by their product. Really good quality. In my opinion, sometimes a bit over the top in terms of quality. But yeah, everything you can see, like the machining on their in-house manufactured stuff is really good. The finish is always pretty well faultless. Yeah, I'd call them top class. Even their SE stuff. They had some issues a while back with the timber being too soft for the bridge posts in the one-piece bridge tailpieces. One-piece bridge and tailpieces are generally a bit of a compromise at the best of times. Having a separate tailpiece is like a cheat code to your guitar not falling to pieces.
Yep.
Right. There are some products you can use to get around it, like the Shayla Signum bridge, for example, that sort of covers most of those issues. But yeah, essentially the basswood that they were using on the early SEs would distort, and you had to like drill it out, plug it, and then reinsert the bushing. But yeah, even their SE stuff, the frets are generally fine. They usually use like a new bone nut or whatever.
Yep.
On the entry level stuff, and then bone on the high end stuff. Stainless frets on the high end stuff. Yeah, I don't have any issues with them. Having said that, again, I don't get a hell of a lot of them in because there's just not heaps out there. A local school had a bunch of the SEs, and even those low end ones were really really good quality.
I'm kind of going to push back a little bit on that. I used to be a PRS dealer. I have seen a lot of PRSs over the years, and I've owned probably a half a dozen or more over the years.
Wow.
Not just the SEs, but like the high-end ones as well. The high-end ones were always, a wonderful piece of working art. I've owned, original old-school single cuts and custom 22s, custom 24s, Macardis. I loved them. I'm a kid raised in the late 90s, early 2000s, watching all of my new metal heroes play them. Hell's yeah. However, the SE range did have numerous sort of QC issues over the years. For example, I got in Mark Holcomb signature model, and the finish had like...
I've had one of them.
Yeah, you could literally see the wood underneath the finish because they'd burned through it while they were sanding it. I had a customer bring in a...
That's the polisher's nightmare, man. Yeah. Like, there's no way to make that go away again other than like stripping it all back and just starting again. It
was right on the head.
Like,
right.
I get a lot of people coming in just wanting chip repairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I just don't want to. I don't want to even touch it. Just deal with your chips on your guitar, honestly.
Yeah. But like, I also had another one which was a real sort of bit of a deal breaker. I had a custom 24 come in, and the trem just didn't work properly. It was like really weird. The trems that they have obviously the 6 screws in there like a Strat, but they've actually got the notches in the screw and knife edges to make them better. Yeah,
fully surrounded. Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why this one was going up and down, and I asked the customer, have you messed around with the screws on there? Because the screws get set from factory using a jig to get them to the correct height. And she said, no, I haven't touched them. And that. I'm like, okay. So I took the bridge apart and I took it out, and I'm like, what the hell? The third screw in wasn't in line with the others. It was actually
really?
Yeah, it was about 3/4 of a millimeter closer to another one and out of line. So literally you couldn't move the bridge properly. So it was a factory defect that made it through multiple QC levels and out the door.
God damn.
Which kind of sucked. But the thing that we've got to remember as well, PRS makes amps. Have you ever seen a schematic for one?
No, they don't. No, they don't. I just erased that from my brain that they make amps. No, they don't.
Yep, they make amps, and you know what? The fact that they treat their amps like there's some kind of magic, like, special thing that nobody should ever know the magic sauce about, pisses me off.
What? When you said that, I'm like, hang on, no, they don't. I literally, I don't even think of their amp manufacturing. Do they even do it in-house?
Yes. They got in-house and they got external. So you've got the in-house ones for the US-made models, like the Archon and all that kind of jazz and the fancy things.
There was one that was good out of all of them, like Sonzera or something?
So, yeah, I mean, they're right. Like, honestly, I love the MT-15. Holy shit, that is an amazing sounding amp. 15-watt lunchbox. 15-watt lunchbox. It's the Mark Tremonti signature model with a clean channel that is amazing and a dirty channel that's an Uber Schall that's just...
Okay.
It's amazing. But... can't get schematics for them. Can't get schematics for the Archon. Can't get it for the for like the 25 or whatever it was.
These days.
Well, you do when they lay it out really stupid and use a black bloody PCB solder mask that you can't see anything. And when you've got multiple channels and switching and all the rest of that, and they refuse to provide it to anyone, they won't even give them to the distributors here in Australia. Literally, will not do it.
And at the end of the day, we can figure anything out, but it ends up costing you, the customer, more when these companies behave like that. Because if we had a schematic, we could laser in on that problem in about 5 minutes, right? But now we've got to trace out large sections of the thing, and we can't do it any faster than how long it takes. And these companies could easily just send us a PDF, job done. We're not going to clone your fucking amp, man. I'm like...
Look, if anyone's going to clone...
too many things going on.
Look, if anyone's going to clone an amp, it is such an easy fucking thing to do. And the reason why is because we know someone who works for a particular company and his job is to literally take the amp apart, measure every component, and trace the PCB, and then put all of those details in so that the boffins with the coding can code it to copy it in modeling.
Do the modeling, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, it goes back to the customer ending up having to pay for that time.
Yeah.
That otherwise you wouldn't have to, just because of the company being secretive. But the main reason I think that they're secretive isn't to protect their IP, it's to protect the fact that they've ripped off others' IP.
Oh, of course.
Right? So every time you get someone, those fucking boutique jerk-offs that cover all their parts with fucking heat shrink or paint them, or even worse, goop large sections of the circuit, it's just to hide the fact that they're ripping off other people, man. It's not It's not that they're a genius and they're protecting their IP. They're just ripping off others, charging a premium, and trying to hide the fact that it's just a big scam.
Yep.
So I don't trust anyone that does that shit. And
I think it's great that,
at the moment, I won't even take their fucking jobs anymore. I'm like, nah, send it back to the manufacturer. I don't care if they're in the UK or US or whatever. I'm not touching it.
Is that why I had one of our mutual customers bring in a tweed a brown face deluxe combo to me to have redone?
Brown face deluxe.
Yeah. There's some dude built it for him, and it was absolute garbage. And
it was a clone. It wasn't a resto. It was
no, original, yeah, clone, yeah.
Right, okay. I don't think I actually denied them. I think I just said it's going to be a wait until September until I can take more work. Yeah. That was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just brought it over the weekend. So.
Yeah. He was just needed it quicker. That's all.
Yeah. So
as far as I dodged a bullet.
Yeah. So as far as PRS goes, because they do offer some good support, for example, I have seen where they've done like refinishes on guitars where the original finish faded and it lost its color. They did it, no question asked, and redid it. I'm going to put them in A or B.
Flip a coin, mate. Flip a coin. I'll put them in the same as Taylor.
Yeah, okay. I'll put them in the same as Taylor. They lose points for the amp thing, and just for like spotty QC on like the SE range, which is a pain in the butt. Going back to the Land of the Rising Sun, we have Ibanez, aka Hoshinogaki.
Not sure how I feel about Ibanez.
Really?
None of their guitars really blow my skirt up, if you know what I'm saying.
I have 6.
But also, I've had so many problems with their Indonesian ones. Again, the timber breaking on the Floyd Rose, either side of the bridge posts, and that's like a death sentence for a guitar body. Like, it's not a lot you can do there.
Honestly, that's just a big issue with all guitars that have a humbucker in the bridge and a 2-point trem.
But move the humbucker like 3 millimeters further away. It's not going to do fuck all tonality wise.
Yeah, I've tried telling that to these guys who think they can hear the difference between fucking cables. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got one here. The whole thing's collapsed on itself. I had one a while back that I managed to fix, but only because the guy was really attached to it.
Look, it happens with Ibanez's, especially because of the basswood that they use. There's not much space between the post and the cavity. But like Jackson's,
you just can't use basswood.
Yeah, Jackson's.
You can't use basswood
thing.
in that application.
It's a pain. It's a pain in the butt. But you know what? I still love them, and I still love them for the fact that you can still go out there and buy a Japanese-made RG with one of the best trems ever made in the edge trim.
Yeah, the Japanese ones are nice. The Prestige.
But that same problem affects the Japanese ones as well. I've repaired.
I think if the body's Yalda, it's like that critical mass. It's just hard enough to be okay. But the basswood just can't handle it. Basswood's like two steps up from balsa wood.
Yeah, most all of them are made out of basswood. That's how they've always been. Like some of the ones I've got are made out of alternate materials. I've got like an RG that's made out of resin cast, which is like epoxy and sawdust. Yeah, it's in the most fucking awesome color.
That's like the shit that they make like the RV kitchens out of. Like they call it core light.
Yeah, it's fucking it's crazy.
What's that sound like?
Like a machine. It's
fucking
awesome. I love it. Yeah, so it's one of my guitars I had tuned in drop B for a lot of that stuff.
I love it. I love it. The purists. I love the purists. They're like, no, it's only got to be Madagascan, fucking blah blah blah, and then you're like, I don't know, it's like Wheat Bix.
I don't give a fuck. Does it sound good? No. Can I change the pickups to make it sound better? Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
anything to avoid practicing. You just got to obsess about the timber your guitar's made out of.
Exactly. I'll pick. It's like I was having a conversation with someone online, and they were going on about finding like, I'm still searching for the perfect guitar pick. Man, I'll pick up whatever the fuck it is, and I'll still play. Doesn't matter. I'll still play pretty much the same.
Use a button battery cell.
Yep. Yeah, bread clip, 5-cent coin.
Bread clip. Yeah, use them in school.
Yep.
I've got a little rock that I picked up by a river, and it was perfectly shaped like a guitar pick.
There you
go.
go. Is it used for playing rock music? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Timing. But like Ibanez as a brand, we got to remember that we've got some of the best value for money guitars out there. A company that not only does shredder stuff, right? Their longest serving brand ambassador is George Benson, a man who
really
one of the original two signature models.
He uses the Art Core, does he?
No, he has his own model, the George Benson models.
Okay, I didn't know he had a signature. Okay.
Yeah, he's had one. Cool. He was one of the first actual signature models out there. Fuck off with your AI bullshit. Like, he's had stuff going all the way back. There we go. To 1976. 77, sorry. Wow. The GB10. And he has had all of these here, right? So we look here and we can see all the George Benson models over the years.
Friggin' hell.
Yeah, and it's like arch tops, hollow bodies, some semi-hollows as well. He had a range of them, but it's always been with Ibanez. He's had Indonesian ones, Japanese ones. The company goes back, obviously, to copying other instruments and models, and they were the company that was involved in the original lawsuit that everyone quotes for all this kind of stuff. But the thing is that they do the hollow bodies, they do basses, some of the nicest basses out there, including obviously the sound gear. Everyone's had a sound gear at some point. They did the original musician series basses as well. They did 5-string, 6-string, fretted, fretless. They've always been able to adapt to the times. So the Talman series as well, they were weird, they were interesting, they were not the shred guitars, which got them through the 90s when, pointy guitars were out of fashion. And then you add to that,
the sound gear basses are very good value for money. They're some of the best value that you can get, actually.
Yep.
A couple of the local schools have them, and they cop all the abuse from those kids, and you just got to replace the knobs periodically, and they keep churching.
Yep, and the parts are generally available for them, which is great. But the thing is, they also do pedals, effects. They did amps in the past as well. Everyone has copied the Tube Screamer. Yes, they didn't design it, but they were the ones who made it famous. Maxon.
Maxon. Oh, okay, because I still sell Maxon. I didn't know they actually invented it. I thought they were copying the Ibanez. Right.
No, wrong way around. Maxon is the company that used to make them for Ibanez up until 10, 15 years ago or whatever, and then Ibanez went off and literally did their own version right down to the point of actually copying the PCB but relaying it out with modern things. I shot a video on it. I just never got around to launching it. No surprises.
That's not like you.
I know, right? It's because I lost all the sound demos because I'd literally compared an original 81 with a modern reissue and the Maxon one. So
Maxon, Max off.
Maxon, Max off. But they had that, and they made it so that everyone had a Tube Screamer. People out there wanted the 8080, their analog delays. They sounded phenomenal. They also had the do you remember when we were edgelord teens in the late 90s and early 2000s? Their Tone Lock series pedals. Everyone wanted the Seventh Heaven, the metal thing. They were cool.
They were trash.
I loved them. They sounded amazing. They had the synth bass pedal. That was sick.
Yeah, that was pretty
so
cool.
Good.
Yeah, Maxon's still made in Japan.
Yeah.
Wonder where their factory is.
I can't remember. I think it was in Osaka, if I remember correctly.
That'd be cool to check out that manufacturing plant. Although what you probably find in this day and age, manufacturing plants are pretty fucking boring, to be honest.
Now it's all
they just
it's
look
all
like
simple
a clean
machines.
lab. Yeah, they just look like a lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Someone, Joe was asking about, we've left Music Man off the list, aka Ernie Ballsack. Yeah, I've got one right here.
Hmm.
The Kaizen.
Ugh.
So this one, long story short, 3 warranty returns.
Of course.
We're slowly getting there.
Why not just send it
wrong.
back? Just tell Steve to come pick it up.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff back and forth with the customer. I won't comment on that, but essentially there's been a shift of distributors. Yeah, CMC don't do Music Man anymore. They only do Sterling.
Whoa, okay.
Essentially, yeah.
Well, now.
I'm not sure who's doing them now. I think one of the shops is doing them, bringing them in.
Probably Guitar Factory.
Yeah, this is very recent. Yeah, I think it was Guitar Factory actually. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'll have to clarify that before I comment any further.
It's all good, but
sometimes I'm so busy with my head in amps and shit champions that I don't know what the industry's doing, which is why I question being on a podcast.
It's all right. You're here to give your opinions on stuff that's good and stuff that's bad. I'm
just the comedic relief. Let's be honest. You're the one bringing the knowledge.
Look, I've just got the auto spraying going on. I hear things, I know things, but when it comes to Ibanez,
I drink and I know things.
Exactly, like my cat, who's a eunuch. He knows things. So Ibanez, I'm gonna put him in A, just because they've always been great value. Parts are generally available. QC across their range is pretty solid.
I would almost venture to say that you are a little bit of an Ibanez fanboy.
Oh yeah, of course. That was that was one of the brands I was like I always wanted as a kid. That's why I own half a dozen now.
You know, I'm not a fanboy for anything anymore. I kind of miss being having that sort of religious fervor over a brand.
See, I already own everything that I want.
Yeah.
So I don't have it. None of the brands, none of the new stuff that's come out makes me go, I really want that.
Yeah, same here, eh? Yeah, there's nothing, I don't lust for anything, to be honest. No. And part of it is because everything's just shit.
Yeah, like even the brands that I did love, they don't make a product for me anymore. I'm not the target demographic, but like if I roll over this way quickly.
I think it's just because I'm not playing regularly anymore. I'm not gigging or whatever. So if I was gigging and stuff, I'd probably get attached to gear again, but to me, it's just stuff that needs everything that comes in's got a problem. So you start to like, oh yeah, what's that one?
So that's this is one of I have 3 of these. Right, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
I have 3 of these. So these are comparisons, and I have 5 comparisons, 3 of which are Angelus type.
Hell.
2 of them are
How many fucking guitars do you own?
26.
Jesus Christ!
And I have sold off a lot of them.
I've got like 3. I've got like 4 or something.
Well, you got to remember that's part of how I used to make my living.
Yeah,
but like
all I really play is the fucking Strat.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of those Angeluses. That one actually used to be Jonah Weinhofen from I Killed the Prom Queen and Bring Me the Horizon. Oh, yeah. That was a touring guitar of his. But that's what I use to test high gain stuff here. But I've got like a couple of them. I've got 2 TAT models because I love them. But I wouldn't buy any of the new ones because none of the new models interest me. They're more for like gent kiddies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I've got at home is my Princeton that I built. Princeton Reverb, a fucking couple of pedals, and the Japanese Strat that I got a few. That's all I really play at home. Yeah. And I've got a Parkwood acoustic, which was a side project from Court. And I did a stainless steel refret to that, and that's my acoustic. They're really the only 2 guitars I play, to be honest.
See, I
could probably get rid of everything else, but I do have a Court bass as well.
Yeah.
Because every now and then I'll fill in for bass players or whatever. B4, Court B4, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Court stuff's good.
It's got the Bartolini pickups in it, Mark 1. But yeah, besides that and just the workshop guitars down here, I'm even thinking I want to cull the herd a bit, like get rid of some stuff, because in this day and age, I don't like owning a lot of stuff, man, because we're only here for a certain amount of time. I don't want a big hoard. I want everything gone, you know?
Yep.
I like the romantic idea of like one guitar and one amp, but you start heading towards that, and then you start wanting more shit. You're like, fuck, a 12-string would be nice. Jeez, you know what would be good? A resonator. You know what?
God.
Let's get a 12-string resonator. And before you know it, you got 30 guitars again.
Well, speaking of getting rid of things and stuff that we all desire, let's jump to Marshall, because you have your Marshall. You got your head.
I've got a couple of Marshalls.
Yeah.
But they're for sale.
Well, you're not keeping your super bass and your cab anymore.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's not really Marshall though. That's like what Marshall used to be.
That's still a fucking Marshall. It's what we're talking about. It is Marshall through and through.
That's the what do you call it? The tourist attraction. If you're a bit upset with being able to hear too well, just play through that for half an hour, and you're going to be in Aussie pub rock territory.
Yep. And like, so many people don't realize just how versatile like a Plexi or a JCM 800 is in what it does. As we were saying before, Korn used a Plexi on their first self-titled album. Like, that's fucking wild.
Do you know what amp?
It was a Plexi.
Yeah, but a Plexi is like the name given to like 15 different types of amps.
Oh, it's one circuit. Come on.
Was it a super bass, a super lead? What was it?
No, Plexi just means
was it
1959.
1959 lead.
When people say Plexi in common parlance, they're talking about a 1959 super lead. Okay?
So the other thing is, the 1959 only came out with Plexi in a very short period too. To me, a Plexi is a JTM 45 because that's the only actual Plexi glass front.
No, because even then they went over to the bloody metal pretty soon. Everyone just says front. Plexi just because that's what they think of. The big Marshall 100-watt output.
Frustrating.
You know, it's not. I'm the one who's supposed to be autistic here. Come on.
Okay, I'm only autistic when it comes to Plexis. It's literally in the word, and it doesn't have Plexi on the front. But people just refer to that cabinet type as a Plexi. That's what I've found. It's pretty a bit much. Like without exception, every single guitarist, when they got a problem with their output jack on their guitar, they call it the input jack. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, it needs a new input jack. I go, what input jack? It's an output jack. And I asked them, now I've started like doing a bit of a survey on them. I'm like, just for my interest, why do you call it an input jack? And they go, oh, because it's where you plug the plug into it. So it's like an input. I'm like, so there's no such thing as an output jack then? No, they're all input jacks because you plug into them. I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, I mean, if we want to get real pedantic, we're talking about an AC signal, so it is going in and out.
Yeah, it's going both ways.
There we go. But Marshall. Obviously, we're talking about the current iterations of the company, so we kind of have to discount their legacies and what they used to be, which, you know, everyone knew Marshall as being the company that made the 100-watt stack. It goes to 11. They made some real hits and misses throughout the 80s and 90s and pretty much coasted on their legacy and brand. Obviously,
a lot of
the
these
JCM
brands
2000s.
did the sort of. A lot of these brands followed the same trajectory, though. Sorry, it's too early. I can't say trajectory. They all started off strong, made a big impact, and then in the 70s, 80s, all turned to shit, like almost without exception. It's kind of interesting that they all did follow that same sort of path. I can't really think of any of the early amp manufacturers that didn't go down that path. Vox did it, Fender did it, into the 90s even. Probably Marshall kind of, I guess, the reissues is really what sort of saved them in terms of, like, from my point of view, the tech. Because they got really bad there for a while.
Well, it's not so much that they were bad, it's that the designs were middling. For example, right, in the 80s you had obviously the JCM 800 series, so the 2203, 2205, the channel switches, like the
2205,
2210. Yep, those kinds of things, which, you know, the switching on them was rudimentary and weird, and you had the clean channel would always leak into the dirty channel.
Just thinking about how they did that too, like, even using the tech back then, if you asked me to make a channel switching amp, that is like the last fucking way I would have done it.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they use these weird chips and it was
Because
crazy.
that was-
And then they went to those dual switchable op amps too. It's like, dude, just use a fucking relay. It's old tech.
Yeah, but also relays and all the rest of that worked, but also pop, pop, pop. Remember the very first
Yeah, they can.
the very
if you
first
don't use them right.
Yeah, but the knowledge and the technology, what we know now, we have access to from these people fucking up. Also in
I guess
textbooks
it's
and
easy with
that.
hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is 2020 in hindsight. But for example, the first Mesa channel switches, the 2 Mark II that became known as the 2A, had a terrible pop between channels because of where they placed the relay. But even when you use a relays and you put them in the right places and that, you've still got to add extra components and extra things to it, which at the time they didn't necessarily want to do that because we're talking about when PCBs were expensive to manufacture, took ages to lay out, and if you fucked up in production, that was a huge amount of money lost. So you wanted to minimize the part count, which we can't think of those kinds of things because it's so easy for us nowadays to manufacture. You could sit down over a matter of like a couple of months and design an entire replacement board for the JCM 2000 series, available at bradsguitargarage.com.au. There we go. But
In
back
stock, ready to
then,
go, tested champions.
yeah, back then you couldn't do that. So they worked with what they could. Like the original JCM 900s that came out were mostly solid state because tubes weren't really available. The Americans got JCM 800s with 6550s because the EL34s at that point were all shit and they weren't making the trip across over on the boat.
We get upset about the shortages at the moment, but these things have been in and out of availability for a long time, and we forget that stuff, I guess, when we're looking back at the older models. It does make sense looking back. But what are they doing now? So
What they're doing now is basically the last 15 years have been them doing nothing except coasting on the legacy. I think the Marshall family dropped the ball towards the end. The last new amp that they did, the major one, was the JVM series amps, which I liked the sound of them. They were kind of complex. They have some issues, but kind of reliable all in all. But they didn't. They've never since replaced that. They went into the small amp realm again, which they used to do back in the 80s. Funnily enough, so they brought in the Studio series, the Origin series, those kinds of things, and then they rebirthed the DSL as a cheap line made in, I think it's Vietnam.
I think the DSL, if it wasn't for that, or those couple of Achilles heel, they would have been a home run, those amps. They did cheap out on some stuff, like even the knobs just feel cheaper. They've got that weird sort of matte finish, rubberized coating to them, which sucks, and it gets sticky over time. The pots are very low quality and kind of hard to get in the same form factor as replacements if you snap one off or whatever. Snap one off. The transformers have gone to a instead of diagonal. I'm not really opposed to that because, in my opinion, the diagonal ones fail more than the current ones do anyway. So, even though they were made in the UK or whatever, they were actually pretty shit transformers, to be honest. Whereas the current ones, Jace has commented on the bell housings ringing a bit. That's probably literally just a manufacturing thing that could be dialed out if they used a different grade of steel or something like that. But a tap with a rubber mallet and goes away. Shouldn't have to, but man, if that's all you got to do in this day and age, it's pretty good. But I would steer away from the DSL series because what's become clear recently is that glue, that Sony Bond shit that they use for all the components goes conductive and starts eating away at the component legs. Now, we've known about this shit for fucking decades, man. The KRK Rocket series, Generation 1 and 2 speakers were all cursed by that. The glue breaks down and eventually goes like black and starts leaching this conductive, like saline fucking fluid on the board. Really weird. It's like actually wet to the touch. And the stuff in the Marshalls isn't as bad, but it does still attack the leads and conduct electricity. But there's also some PCB layout errors where there's this breakdown of the margins between certain tracks, and it's not in areas you'd really expect. they do things like instead of implementing a negative feedback resonance circuit, they've actually created like
an active filter with a FET.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a what we call a gyrator, which creates the same similar effect, but they've powered that from the HT, and in some of those areas they didn't get their net classes right, and that dropper network there likes to arc over and cause damage, which needs to be dug out of the board and conformally coded.
Yep.
So look, I hope they fix that stuff, but what seems to happen is so many of these things have been manufactured by the point that it becomes evident there's a systemic issue that they cover it up, and they did the same shit with the JCM 2000, but it's not the same people in charge now that it was back then. So I think if anything now there's probably less of a chance that they're going to own up to any mistakes. But look, all I'd buy from Marshall at the moment is their reissues, which are good amps. They've got a few weak spots still. Pretty much almost everything does. Things like the heater balance trim pot loves to flame up, and the grounding could be improved significantly, which Lyle and I have done videos on. But yeah, if you get yourself a reissue, a bit like the Fender, some of the Fender stuff, which we'll get into shortly. But yeah, pretty much the only thing I could suggest from Marshall is their reissues. And their Bluetooth speakers and all that stuff, that's not the same company. Just ignore that. I wouldn't even consider that. That's just branding.
What's annoying and wild is that they've gone through 2 owners now in 5 years. Because originally you had the Marshall family who owned it. They went into partnership with Zounds, who basically they licensed the Marshall branding to for their headphones and all that kind of jazz. And then Zounds ended up stepping in and buying Marshall Group outright. So they bought them, they owned them, rolled them into one company. Then they sold them 18 months later to a Hong Kong-based investment group. And honestly, I kind of see maybe that's a good thing for the brand just for the moment, in that they've already started doing new things. For example, they just had the Billy Joe Armstrong Dookie amp come out. That looks kind of cool. Yep. I wouldn't pay how much they're asking for it.
Like $8,000 or something?
No, that was the bloody stupid JCM 800 modified.
That's
thing.
The modified. Yeah.
Yeah. That one. That's dumb.
You could buy a reissue and pay a tech like $500 to get the same amp.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, those kinds of things I see, I'm like, okay. The one thing, something we haven't covered, they're cheap amps. They're combos, like the little solid stators, the MG series. They were always
one right
brilliant.
here, MG10.
Yep.
Yeah.
The new ones, though, they're all SMD and they're not easily repairable like the originals were.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
damn,
we could always repair the ones that every school had. Every school had a Marshall MG 100 or MG 250 is like the big amp in the room. They were bulletproof, they were robust, they were reliable. You could fix them infinitely. It's kind of like the old PV series amps. Every time I work for a school and I see them and I see an old teal stripe there or a trans tube series, I say, do not get rid of it. Do not move it on.
Yeah.
Hold on to it and we can keep working on it forever.
They'll just live forever, eh? Everything in them's generic.
But
pretty much.
Maybe
modern, some pots and switches and that, but you can make it work.
Yeah. But they're modern, like Marshall's modern amps, their modern products are middling. They're not the worst, but they're kind of okay. For how many that they sell, like, we don't see a huge number of the Origins and the SV series coming in for failures. Design-wise, why would you use EL34s on 290 volts or whatever it is? You know, just put in EL84s.
Yeah, I was going to say part of the reason is similar to Mesa Boogie. A lot of the frustratingly we whinge about those amps, but they last forever because they're biased at like 10%.
Yep, but they're
it's like driving a car around in first gear every day.
Yeah, but they're okay. Like the JVMs, they're moderately okay. There's nothing exciting about them, but we can still get schematics. We ask for schematics. Yeah. We get them.
True.
They'll sell parts. I can still go to Alpha and buy parts for a Marshall like a pot.
Here you can, but overseas that's an issue.
Look, we're not going to speak about America because America is its own little special level of hell. The fact that you can't go directly to the company, you have to go to a distributor in between to be able to get parts makes no sense to me. And then they'll tell you got to have this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I'd say Marshall goes in B, middling. Not the worst.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Not the best.
Yep.
And honestly, the
agree with that.
DSLs do sound pretty good once you deal with those
Yeah,
flaws.
very bright, very fizzy, but you could address that as well.
Yeah, I like that
Depends on
kind
the
of thing though. They
speakers as
cut
well.
through the mix. Yeah, you can cut down the fizz as well by moving the SM57 an inch to the left.
Yeah, true. I tried that on the last DSL though, and even that was still had that fizz.
Then put it on an angle. Do the the
gotta,
Clayman thing.
You got to alert the FCC before you turn on your amp because of all the harmonics.
Hells yeah. Infinite mace, infinite harmonics and infinite levels.
DC to light. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to Japan for another one. Roland. Let's talk about Roland the corporation. So we're talking
Roland
and Boss. Roll them under one thing.
Yeah. I mean, Boss is usually everyone's first interaction with the gear market because the first thing you buy is often a pedal, right? Even back in the day.
Yep.
Because it's the cheap, low barrier to entry. Straight away makes your guitar sound crazy different.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere and they are bulletproof. You can use them to chock up your car tire while you're changing your wheel.
Yep.
You can, they do cop a lot. Having said that, a lot of the new stuff, the super dodgy. What do they call those skins that basically you buy a pedal and then you like subscribe to the effect?
Oh,
that
the
is
plug
dog
out
shit.
system. Yep.
Yeah, that is
guitar
a dog
pedals
shit
as a
system.
service.
Yeah, so that stuff really takes them down a lot of notches in my book.
Would it surprise you to learn that one of the shareholders of the company is Servco?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're just a minority shareholder. They're still run mostly by a Japanese board. However, I know somebody who actually worked for Roland as their VP of product design, and he was there from the 80s through the sort of 90s. And he knew the original owner, the original founder of the company, and saw what happened. And basically, the company's run by a British accountant, effectively nowadays. So
Okay.
they're doing things that aren't quite the same. That's why, like, there's good things about them, but bad. So good things is that they've managed to keep products going as they do, like pedals. Like everyone can still buy a DS1. They're now all SMD though, but they're using the same enclosure form factor. They're using all that kind of stuff. You've got products that have been around for a number of years. You've got new stuff that people seem to like, even though I don't. I honestly think that the Katana is the worst sounding of the digital modeling amps, and they just show that most people don't know what a good amp sounds like. Line 6 forever. But you've also got like their keyboards and stuff, which they keep changing constantly, and you can't easily get parts for. Which
I've
also
heard
have
their parts is not fun.
OEM, like the Roland Juno G. Every single one of them will have a failing display, and it was an OEM display. So you have to fuck around to retrofit some other thing and use a Arduino or a MicroPi or something to actually make it work, because they
Yucky.
didn't just use off-shelf stuff.
Yeah.
They've made products that they refuse to acknowledge their past whilst milking it. So everything is software as a service with Roland Cloud. You got the plug out synths like the IRAs, the TD, whatever it is, and the others as well. And then of course the pedal thing, pedals as a service. Like just sell me a multi-effects unit. That's it. I don't want to pay for service. Just let me load up the algorithms. That's what I liked about TC Electronic before they shat the bed. You could do that with their Tone Print series.
Tone print, yeah, that's what they called it, yeah. So I've dealt with Roland in terms of like just parts repair a bit, and just thinking about it, they underwent a change in management with that about 12, 18 months ago, didn't they? You were telling me?
Yep.
So I think all the parts I sourced were before that happened. And they were really good. They were just as good as Yamaha for parts, but I haven't experienced what they're like now. So
Parts I can
not
get.
looking forward to it.
Parts access is still easy.
Yep. Okay.
However, service documents and schematics, no shit show. No chance.
Yeah.
They will not provide them unless you're authorized service. And they actually reached out to me because some new guy took over from the old guy and went, oh shit, most of the people we have on the books as service agents aren't actually service agents anymore, and they're retired or they're dead. And so they reached out and they wanted to find some more. And I said, yep, cool, here's my details, blah, 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 blah. And they never followed up. Because, it sucks. I would have totally taken them on because, work is work and it's easy with these big companies because you just build them and they pay
you
it.
can get the parts.
Yeah.
You get the parts, you get the documents, you can work on anything.
Yep. But, they've just, you can still get parts, but you can't get service documents for most of their modern products. So someone comes in with I had an FAO6 that needed repair, right? Relatively modern model.
Phantom?
No, model below the Phantom. It's like a Phantom stripped down. Yeah. So the FAO6, and I had to repair it, but I couldn't get service documents for them. They wouldn't give them to me. It's like,
yeah, right.
It's a discontinued product, guys. Come on. Let me have access to it.
I don't know what they're trying to protect. Who's going to start a fucking... Maybe they're just hiding it from Behringer. I don't know.
But it comes down again. It doesn't matter with Behringer because, Behringer, they have an entire department that their job is literally to tear apart a unit and rebuild the schematics from bottom up.
Yeah. Yeah. They've got entire armies towards that shit.
Yeah. They have an entire bloody city they built just for manufacturing their stuff.
And if anyone is asking why Behringer's not on the list, it's because they wouldn't make those tiers at all. I fucking hate Behringer.
Look, I will give Behringer that they have managed to democratize a range of gear people wouldn't normally have access to. For example, being able to buy a 16-voice polyphonic synth with a half-decent keybed for less than $2,000. Okay, I'll give it to them.
But...
The DeepMind 12 is a phenomenal synth as well, and they were cheap and they were good.
What good is it if when it fails you can't get fucking parts, you can't get support?
I can though.
The product may as well not exist. What, really though?
Yeah, I'm a Music Tribe service agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was Music Tribe. They used to own Mackie, didn't they?
No, that was Loud Group.
Loud Group.
Yeah,
okay.
Loud owned Mackie and Yamaha.
So hard to keep track of.
Are you thinking of In Music, which is In Music is the group that has Akai and Rain and all those fucking companies. Sequential. They're the ones that you cannot get documents from. They will not provide them.
Yeah.
I do their service work, and it's like pulling teeth for me to get. I've got on the shelf behind me here 2 Rain 77 mixers. Can't get fucking parts for just yet. Still waiting on them. 2 Newmark DJ controllers that I'm waiting on documents for to sort them out. And a couple of other random things as well.
Right.
Yeah, they're a clusterfuck of a company to deal with. And now they own Moog as well, hence the reason why they've just destroyed that.
Yeah. Again, I got parts for Moog. They were really good about the Voyager.
Yep.
The cutoff pot, I think, would fail. So they just sent a new one out, no questions asked, no charge to the customer, not even shipping cost. Really good. But again, that was before they got taken over. So it's good while it lasted.
Yep. So Roland for me are one of those ones where it's they're pedestrian, everyone knows them, everyone's there's a lot of old stuff out there that we could still fix, but the modern things we just can't. We can't do anything with their new products. Someone comes in with a katana, they're literally a disposable amp. They're glued together.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wild though is that, and the reason why I'm once again a Yamaha fanboy, is someone comes in with a spider. I can fix that. I can fix a spider. What the hell?
You'd think I would be able to too, with a last name like Webb. The old spider.
Nice.
Yeah. So TK is just saying he has a Bugera amp here at the moment. The power amp is assembled so poorly that you can't set the trim pots while it's assembled.
Yep.
Almost impossible to repair. I should have declined, live and learn. Yeah. Eventually, TK, you've probably got a pretty large list by now because it's not your first rodeo by any means, but you do end up with a shit list of just products you've been burned on once and you just won't take in again. Having said that, what's really good is when there's an amp that's just got the same issues, so you know straight away, or not an amp, just any product, you know straight away what the issue is going to be because it's a systemic issue. Having
Blues
said
Junior.
Yeah, probably should have been a recall in that case, but if they don't, or if they weasel out of it, at least you know sort of what the base level cost of making that thing reliable will be. But yeah, Bugera,
Yeah.
it was interesting. I had a BVV 3000, which is their SVT ripoff, and I was actually pretty surprised it wasn't that bad. But I think a lot of the older Behringer stuff, Bugera is Behringer, a lot of the older Behringer stuff, they hadn't figured out how to get that that bathtub of no failures there for the warranty period happening yet. So when you are manufacturing in a cynical way that they do, where they want things to fail just outside of warranty, so you have to buy a new one, it's actually pretty hard to make stuff fail predictably, like, because you don't know what use cases they're going to be in, what their hourly usage per week will be. So if you do things that a lot of them do, and at this point, this isn't a secret, these manufacturers are doing this on purpose. They'll put the capacitors right up next to the regulators, heat generating parts right next to parts that don't like heat, and that's like a timer that'll make your amp fail after a certain amount of time. You can tell me it's a mistake all you want, but seeing this happen generation after generation, decade after decade, they know what they're fucking doing. They're doing it on purpose, right? So yeah, seeing that happen over and over again, you sort of start to think, man, they're planning this stuff. But so before they figured out all that shit, though, their products were relatively reliable because it was actually it was easier to over-engineer something so it lasted a long time than it was to make it fail predictably after a certain amount of time had elapsed. So things like their BX series bass amps and that were actually built reasonably well. They had big fat toroidal transformers. But then when everything went Class D, the cost dropped dramatically, and switch mode power supplies with questionable specs and all sorts of other issues meant that they're just not worth taking in anymore. They're just, you fix one thing, you fix the weakest link, and then the next weakest link breaks next week. And to the customer, they brought it to you, and now it doesn't work after spending $300. So you must be something you did, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's safer to just not to repair them at all.
Yep. Speaking of repairs, so Roland are a pain in the ass to repair their modern things. Their products are middling, and they're right on into the software as a service type thing. In my eyes, that puts them in a C tier.
C tier.
C tier, because I can't support a company that wants to constantly extract value from customers for no added value on, you know, the part of what they're offering. They're literally just rehashing their greatest hits and selling something that other people have been doing for ages that, you know, they seem to be doing better. I mean, if I'm going to buy like a software plug-in version of a synth, you know what? I'm probably going to go Arturia or one of the others out there that do it quite well. You know, at least with my Arturia V collection, because I've got it, I'm still on like version 7 because I haven't updated it. I own it. It's outright. It's mine. It's there.
Yeah.
You know, I paid it, bought it once.
I've got a couple of Arturia products. Got the Micro Freak and the Mini Brute.
Yep. I use for testing here, I've got a Keylab 49 down there and a BeatStep Pro, and I use those when I need to test like MIDI and all the rest of that. It just works. It works when I need it for. Yeah.
The only thing that really shits me about them is they keep insisting on using that rubberized coating that degrades.
Yeah.
It goes sticky.
Throw it in an ultrasonic cleaner that gets rid of it.
Ultrasonic, yeah, that's a good move, yeah. Now I've got one.
Exactly. Throw it in there, it's all done and dusted and sorted. So
fuck, that thing gets a workout, man.
Best investment.
Yeah, the Mesa Boogie, the Studio Caliber, that's after I cleaned the board. The whole board went in, and I just sat the pots above the water level, or above the fluid level.
Nice.
And yeah, she looks like a brand new board now. It's great.
Hells yeah. It's one of those things that like most people go, oh, I'd never thought of getting an ultrasonic cleaner. Yep, get one. They're brilliant.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I wish I did it years ago.
Okay, here we go. We're on to the last one. That means Fender.
Yeah, well, what's a podcast without mentioning Fender, eh?
Exactly. You know, gotta make money somehow.
These guys that, you know, I do respect, they do some good material, but you go to their channel and you scroll back and literally every second video is about Fender.
Yeah.
and their corporate shit. It's like, fuck, man. I think we
Business
know
is
by
business,
now,
man.
but it is what it is. Yeah, people click it, people watch it, people love a drama.
Exactly. And, this is half the reason why we're even discussing these things, because of how the industry has changed and gotten so much worse. And Fender is the epitome of everything getting worse. And it comes back to the overall topic. Why is everything closing down? Well, because these kinds of corporate chuckle fucks are out there making shit worse for everyone. A lot of people don't realize how Fender operates outside of just what they see in the news. I've known for years because I'm in the back end. I know these things. I know dealers. I know how things go. I remember when Fender Australia was taken over by Fender US, right? Fender US decided the time has come, we're taking over Fender Japan and Fender Australia, rolling them all into one company. The moment that they did that, one country. The moment that they did that, they started importing lower quality products, things that would have previously been like denied, and basically they would have said, Fender, no, we're not taking this shit in. Margaret, who used to own and run Fender Australia, was very hardline on that kind of stuff, treated her dealers fairly, but obviously wanted to grow the brand, and she did. And that's why for years, Fenders were everywhere, and they were decent. They were decent quality stuff, right? We've got, Fender America taking over and then suddenly pushing out crap, and then product lines that were there for years suddenly were being churned through. For example, the American Standard series went all the way from the 90s through to the 2010s, and then they were replaced by the American Pro series and the American Vintage series and Mexican Standards. Like, they got rid of these, and now have you noticed how every year there's a new range? Now we're up to like the American
year,
Pro
man. It's every
2.
like month.
Yeah, and the reason why
That's
this
fucking
is
insane.
Okay, and the reason why this
They're
is
using the shops as a bank.
literally, yes. The reason why this is because corporate entities and that kind of jazz, they make money on constant growth, on things going constantly. The previous way that they operated was we make products, we sell them, we make money. Now, we make products, we make new products, so people buy new products constantly and keep them going on. So now we've got new colors, we've got new this, but when you've got an extra layer between you and the consumer, you've got dealers. What do? Your dealership requirements now are that you have to take this color, this color, this color, this model, this one, 5 of these, 10 of those, and 20 of these. And then you have two options. Either A, you buy the next lot that we tell you to do, or we cancel your dealership. And when we're the preeminent brand in the market, guess what? You don't have a choice unless you're an idiot like me and went, no, I never want to sell this brand ever. So...
Well, no, you're not the only one, man. There's a lot of shops here that built their legacy on selling these brands, and they dropped them because they're just like, well, if that's how you're going to treat us, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Now we've got a little bit of difference on that, but for years you couldn't stop that. But then they also went at the same time, we're going to go direct to consumer. So we're going to take we're not going to beat you on price. We're going to sell for the same price as you, but you're going to do the legwork for us because we might have some other colors and stuff online available that you may not necessarily have in stock because you'll only carry a certain amount and you're not allowed to drop ship. So Fender would go, okay, cool. And then they would sell and they would do that. And so many dealers were pushed to the wall by these requirements crossed with the costs. So Fender turned around and shafted so many of their dealers and then started saddling them with lower quality products and making returns harder. And then we get to the piece de resistance, or the piss in the pool, as it were. They introduced the Tone Master series, which is the biggest fuck you and middle finger to consumers that I can possibly think of. Here is an amp that could be pretty damn cool. I don't give a fuck that it is just a modeling amp that has one setting. Awesome. So be it. I don't need a million other things they sound good. Problem is, the cost that they're charging is insane for what it is. Secondly, so many are failing. And service agents can't get documents for them. It is literally do not repair, send back to distributor, and they will swap the entire unit out and scrap the rest.
If it's in warranty.
If it's in warranty. Outside of warranty.
If it's not in warranty, you're fucked. Yeah.
We're not...
So basically, everyone, to me, and this goes back to the influencer thing. So when the Tone Master came out, everyone was pretending to be objective and say, yes, it sounds good. It's good for this application. It's lightweight, blah, blah, blah. Only talking about the pros. To me, you just fucked over half your audience. So if people go out and buy this thing, it lasts the warranty period, happy days. If it doesn't, then you go through some bullshit, but you're not getting an amp back. It lasts a year and a half, and we know why. We know why it fails now. Sometimes they fail spontaneously, and the ice power module just explodes. We never have a definitive answer as to why that happens. Sometimes you can replace that module and away you go. Bit of work there because it's got some heat sinks and bullshit that you've got to reinstall. But there's other things like it should be underrated for the method that they've used to connect it to the chassis, which is the heat sink. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But if you are giving this thing a good rap and saying, yeah, it's good, buy it, and then it fails 18 months after you've purchased it, $2,200 you've just spent on an amp that's lasted 18 months, and now it's fucking useless. Like, the whole thing goes in the bin. They don't manufacture spare parts at all. You cannot buy spare parts unless it's off another unit that you've scrapped, in which case the units that are failure prone would have already failed. So that scrap unit will be no good to you because the parts that you want are already blown up in it. So if you are out there reviewing these products, pretending that you're doing it from an objective point of view, just playing through it like a dumbass, not thinking about the tech side, every time you recommend that amp, you are fucking over your viewers, your followers. Anyone that respects your opinion. It's such bullshit. But yeah. But,
it's the world we live in. It's across everything. And
they come in, we have to fix them. We've got good reason for hating these things.
Yep.
So if you think that it's just us being bitter or whatever, then fucking go buy a Tone Master. When it blows up, you're on your own. Sorry.
It got even worse though. Somehow it got worse. Okay, so we can see that we've got 1885 for the 212 twin reverb, right? The Tone Master. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. So we go, go to that there, go that there. There we go. Tone Master Pro, $22.79, right? $2,279. And guess what? Encoder breaks on it. No, they will not sell you the part. They won't tell you what the part number is. Literally,
the whole thing just goes in the bin.
Yeah, literally.
It's a thing that you stomp on. It's a thing that you stomp on to operate it, and they won't sell you replacement parts.
Yeah,
like fucking hell.
We know someone who is a Fender service agent who literally had a Tone Master come in, Tone Master pedal board, and he said, "Oh, hey, we've got a broken encoder. Can get the schematics to get the encoder for it? No, sorry, please send back to us. It's okay. It's a physical damage. Okay, sorry, no warranty then." He was able to track down a part. You
physically damaged it. I don't give a fuck if I physically damaged it. That's what spare parts are for, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's broken. I don't care how it broke. I could have shot it with my fucking gun. I still want to buy the new part. Give me the new part, you fuckheads.
Yep, and they wouldn't. So he went out there and he managed to find the part, get the encoder, and put the encoder in there. Fuck. But when they're like treating customers with that level of contempt. On a product of that price point.
They want your money and they want you to fuck off.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep. And just quickly, right? There is a thing here from Paul who says, "Has Fender Japan changed? I have an 80s Jazzmaster which I've had for almost 20 years and found to be fabulous. Are they worse now?" Yes. Why? Because Fender Japan doesn't exist anymore. They are Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, the Japanese division. That is why, have you noticed that all of these random Japanese artists you've never heard of have signature models in the West? Like, that's a bit odd. It's because they're pushing these onto dealers and trying to do more. The QC has gone downhill so much. Like, Japanese Strats and Tellys and that we used to buy for years, they were always just phenomenal. But now the quality isn't there because the acceptable yield that Fender says to the factories, forcing them to do more, make worse products because we want to push more out. They're more focused on the brand and licensing. Ergo, the Shibuya bloody fucking shop that they've got there, which is mostly like fucking clothing and accessories and things, and they just opened a Fender cafe. A cafe, man. Like a cafe. What the hell?
Know your lane, you fuckers. Like they're trying to. God. Anyway,
Like this is the world that we're in, and this is what we're trying to help people learn more about. And I am going to be the professional hater. Brad is more neutral on things. I am not. I am going to say.
am I though?
Yes, you are.
I mean, I get a lot of grief on my channel for being
and you get
negative
so
about
worked
shit.
up on it as well. It affects your heart and soul. My heart and soul is blackened and shriveled. I will take the hate and the arrows, and I will say directly to these people, you deserve better, even if you don't think that you do. I want you to have the best gear that you possibly can, and that
That's right.
means I'm
That's what we're
going
in
to
it for.
burn your sacred bloody idol.
Yeah, the one thing that really gets me is when you give an opinion on an amp. It's always when I do a video or a video series on a particular amp and its systemic problems. The hatred you get from that, because the people that own the amp just want you to praise it. They don't want the truth. They just want to get told by someone else that they're smart and made the perfect decision.
Yeah. Look, part of it is that the whole thing of, and look, I've copped this from customers before when I was like a little bit less tactful a while back for various things. Even though I'm like being as tactful as I can, I'm not going to the point of like a lot of other people in the whole, like, you've bought a product, unfortunately it has major flaws and there's not much I can really do about it. You know, yes, I understand you want this product. I can't easily fix it or work on it because it's garbage. It's built awful. It's just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, when it gets to the point where, well, like in the repair industry, so it's a bit like your car, right? Last week your car was working, now it's not. Now you got to pay $600 to $1,200 to get it back to just where you were last week.
Yep.
So people can already come in not quite happy about the situation, but that's not our doing. We're here to help. We didn't manufacture that product. We didn't design it. So what I've sort of started the channel out for was to show these people what's involved and why it costs what it does. Like no secrets, like just cards on the table. This is what it takes. And the second one is to spread it, awareness of these products to stay away from. So when you get grief off like people that haven't paid a cent to me, just YouTube commenters, I've never met them. I'm giving them free information to save them money, and they still get upset at me for it. That's what really pisses me off. It's like, oh, sorry, as Lyle says, do you want your free back? Tell me where to send your free.
Yeah. Look, I see none of that really affects me. I don't get annoyed by it because I'm just like, okay, these people don't know any better. So I'm going to just say what I say with entire conviction because, like I said, I want them to have the best that they can. That's my entire belief system, is that people might get pissed off at me, but I say what I say because I want things to be better and because they can. And because, as we're going to cover on the next one of these, is that the next one is going to be more hopeful. And we're going to talk about the good stuff and how we are actually in an era of the best gear ever. If I had access to the stuff when I was a teenager that is available now, holy shit, I would have been so stoked. It's like, wow, look, 2 cakes. My God.
It's going to be positivity time next week.
Exactly.
I don't think they believe us, but
I am one of the, like everyone knows, I am a Yamaha fanboy and I will defend them to the death, except when they do the occasional stupid thing because everyone deserves to be called out. But there is so much good stuff out there. Like there are guitars available for $500 that you never would have expected to be amazing bits of kit. There are like amps out there that sound amazing that cost nothing. A kid sitting at home can sit there with less than $1,000 worth of gear and record an album that sounds $1 million. That's got its
But again,
drawbacks
having
as
said
well.
that, is that happening?
Yes,
Not really.
there is plenty of them. But we don't see them because of that whole like
Algorithm?
democratization of music. We don't hear those things because it's not being fed up by the algorithm, and these kids aren't out there playing gigs, communicating with other people, learning things. So they're reliant on having their stuff fed up by the numbers in a magic black box. But they're making it and they're creating it.
you got to do work to find art, man. Like, I think people have forgotten that a lot too. Like, we had to spend time in the trenches, going out and seeing bands we'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Listening to records, maybe spending money on records that we had no idea if they were good or not, with minimum research, because we didn't really have the internet to lean on to know if something was good or bad. Things like we made decisions whether or not to buy an album literally just based on the fucking cover art and like maybe a few rumors about what the band was like, you know. And that was risky, but it was fucking exciting and it was fun and it was awesome. And when you did find a little gem out there that no one else knew about, you're like, hey, look at this. Look how fucking cool I am. I know about this band, you know?
Hells yeah.
And these days, everything's just so out there and open, but people still aren't doing it. It's just... It's like they need to be told constantly what they should and shouldn't do and should and shouldn't like, you know? Like,
yeah, it's buried in the noise. There is so much out there, and the skills that we learnt as young musicians to go out there and find the music and to get the music out there doesn't exist anymore, because they see the YouTube players and the TikTok players and that, and they go, I'll do that, I'll follow that. But then what happens when the algorithm stops? You don't have your community there buying your stuff, coming out to seeing your shows and trying to contact like venues going, hey, I think you should book these guys. I think you should check this out. I remember Soundwave, one of the early ones, there was a band called The Vein in Sydney, and they were out there and they were like just this young bunch of fucking teens and that, but they ended up like getting a lot of momentum to play there because they were like, their fans just kept harassing them and contacting them constantly. Like, get these guys. Okay, fine, whatever.
Just to make you go away. As long as you'll shut up and stop emailing me.
I was a part. Do you remember back in the days when bands that would have like street crews?
Street crews,
man. Like, we were the fans around the world for various bands. And our thing was to go out there and put up posters and have stickers. I was part of the street crew for this American industrial metal band.
Promo on that, you mean?
Well, kind of, yeah, but it's like community heads, leaders, that kind of thing. But I was part of the street crew for a band called...
Sorry, I think I've got a delivery. Yeah, keep talking.
Fuck, oh my God, why have I drawn a blank on them? Crossbreed. Yeah, an industrial metal brand called Crossbreed. Yeah. Okay. And they were so fucking cool. But I found them randomly through somebody, I think it might have been Channel V late at night randomly, and they had like some alternative thing on, and a music video played, and I listened to it, and I was like, this is sick. And I followed the band on MySpace, and I emailed them, and they put up a post saying, hey, we're looking for, street crew to do stuff for us around the world so we can get some more thing and be able to travel international. I was like, fuck yeah. So I did that, and I went out and I put stickers out and I put flyers out and I contacted music stores and all that kind of stuff. Nice. Yeah, that was how we did things. I remember going to the Albion Hotel in Parramatta and seeing...
man.
Yeah, man. I remember seeing Sunk Loto there after they released their first album, when it was like more melodic and that. So post Vinegar Stroke.
Is the Albion even still there?
I fucking no idea.
Yeah. Just goes to show we're not going out enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These days, where do you go? All the places we used to go to don't exist anymore. Annandale, Sandringham, the Hope Town, Oxford Art Factory's kind of still there. Frankie's is gone. King's Cross Hotel doesn't do bands or music and that kind of stuff anymore. Club 77 only just reopened.
Did it reopen, did it?
Yeah, they had a full fit out and that to make it more accessible and shit. So now you can actually go out down there if you don't have full things. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice. Or if you're just really drunk.
Yep. Exactly. It's easier to get down now. But like that's that was how we made music. That's how word spread, and that's how things went. But even like people would just go to a gig and it's like, here's the opener, some random fucking band I never heard of, or like I remember being in high school and playing a gig at the local scout hall. There was like 5 of us bands. We got together. We had some shitty PA and hired it out. And did stuff there. It was like a mixture.
here in Penrith did that.
Yep.
There was a big punk scene around the Penrith PCYC back in the, God, would have been late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
It was good fun.
That was
I
classic.
climbed the wall there and I grabbed onto a bit of conduit that I thought was metal, but it was plastic and it ripped off the wall. Whoops. It was a bloody 17, 16-year-old or something.
Yep.
I didn't show my face there after that.
I think we've all had moments like that back in the past where we did rapscallion shitbag things.
We've all got our cringe moments. That's for sure.
Here we go. People discussing about sort of like how things were in the past. Like someone was saying, you know, we would hit a Kinko's and run off 1,000 flyers for one rinky-dink show. Yeah. And like, unlike these shitty AI posters and that you see around, doing it like that, it would have been some dude with like a pencil and paper doing something or throwing something together in like a Photoshop CS3 or something. It was like, here's punk rock, here is something cool and old, interesting.
Or the DIY presses, like where they do the the lino print. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yep. Man.
A lot of shit like that. There's love in it, you know, and you can tell the person who did it because they wanted to, not because they felt pressured to, you know. And that's you can tell that thing is that people sense that shit, like, and they know when you don't give a fuck about them and you use an AI bloody assisted flyers and whatever, and people just brush it off because they're it's just another drop in the ocean of horse shit. And when you see something that's actually made with a bit of love, you can tell. AI can't fake that shit.
Nah. But then I swear, if I just all the idiots out there online going, oh, but AI music is cool and I can do this, and like Facebook is doing what it can to piss me off because every single like post and group that it shares up is stuff that
Your
I fucking
algorithm
hate.
hates you.
Look, my algorithm's just channeling my inner self-belief, okay?
Well, it means you must be engaging with that stuff when you hate it, whereas I don't engage with stuff that I hate. I ignore it, so it doesn't speak to me.
Well, it's also because like, you know, let me put on my tinfoil hat here. Conspiracy time, not even a conspiracy. It's now actually just known. It's also because it's listening to us. The apps are listening.
Yeah. Totally.
I said to you the other day, what was it? I was talking about.
I don't have the apps on my phone.
Oh, that's right. No, I had. I was talking about Haley Stevens, and I'll say that in the Michigan. I see Israel in my dreams. And like, it's like talking about that, and next thing you know, like literally within 5 minutes, my feed is showing her and showing like her, and I'm like, I'm in Australia, so obviously it's not targeting based on anything. I've never said anything about her or the race through my through my Facebook or any other platform, and somehow it's got me. So like, okay, fuck this. Nope. See ya.
Yeah.
Why can't you show me something more interesting? Things I like. I don't know. Show me titties. Oh, wait, we're not allowed to do that because it's an American puritanical platform.
I have been getting fed some titties these days. I must slow down when I scroll past them, and it's like, oh, he likes titties. Scrolling down, there'll be like some swimsuit ad or something.
Yep.
And Shell will be standing behind me going, I guess it knows you like titties. I'm like, well, it is smarter than we give it credit for.
Yeah. It's also more evil. Way more.
Hey, you know what I just found? A vital interconnect from our favourite Tone Master. Look at that. How's that for quality? It was just floating around on my parts bench.
Hell yeah.
So that's quality, brother. You take that on the road.
Yep. Totally.
And rely on it for your paying gigs.
If you want something real funny for like the low QC stuff, I just had 3 Labgruppen E-Series power amps in for repair because they're they're having high failure rates, and they use standard 0.1 inch connectors between the boards and all the rest of that.
Yep.
And none of them meet the insertion force spec. You can literally just put your pinky underneath it and the whole thing comes out of the socket. And that's bear in mind, like the sense lines for the power amps are on them, so you lose the sense lines and that. Boom. Like
Yeah.
quality stuff. Like no Celastic, no goop, no hot glue, nothing.
Man, I thought they were quality.
Lab Grippen's owned by Music Tribe now.
Now though. Yeah, so it's a bit like there's a whole bunch of brands that they bought, like Clark Technic.
Yep.
Was the other one. They used to be like the bee's knees, like fucking shit you can go to war with. And now they're not.
No.
Still got the same logo, but that's the only thing that's the same.
Tannoy as well.
Tannoy, yeah. Tannoy were like, they were up there. They were pioneers in what they did. And well, it is what it is, mate. Yay.
Yep. It's all right. Next one, it's going to be more positive as we talk about the things that we like about the industry, because we're not just crotchety old bastards. We just want the best for everyone.
That's right. We want things to be better, champions.
Yeah.
And if you think that's not a good thing, well, I don't know. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Things used to be good, or at least better. Things weren't always this shit.
What a note to leave on.
Exactly.
Hey, well, I'm
back in
going to do
Morday.
an unboxing video this week because I've got my new Heiko FX100 on the way.
Ooh, shiny.
So hopefully that's good, and I might even tear it down, although it is under warranty, so it's probably not a good idea.
Well, that doesn't affect
But
the
yeah,
warranty
Heiko
here in
stuff's good.
Australia.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
Yeah, they might put up a bit of a fight, but the ACCC is on your side. That's the other thing I keep telling my customers. Look up consumer protections. We've got incredibly strong consumer protections in Australia, thanks to the ACCC. So all the bullshit that these companies tell you to scare you off, like, warranty doesn't apply because of this or that. No, fuck off. ACCC said you're wrong, and if you want to take the small claims court, I'll see you there.
Yep.
So, every time a customer's giving you the runaround, see what your rights are, champions. Go onto the ACCC website. They've got pretty handy guides there and summaries to help you out in plain English. As for those overseas, I can't tell you what your local regulations are like, but we do have very, very strong consumer protection laws in Australia.
Oh, is the FX100 fixed temp tip? Oh.
Yeah.
Ew,
Yeah, so I had to buy 3 tips just
Hard
to
pass.
see which temperature I want.
Hard pass.
They're only $30 a tip or something.
Yeah, but still.
But
I'd rather
it's
just have
induction.
Yeah, but there's you got other ones that are induction based at a very variable temp, like the Metcals.
Are Metcal's induction, are they?
Yeah, some of them are.
Or are you thinking JBC?
Pretty sure Metcal do. What's his as well?
I have to look into it. But,
I don't know. Maybe.
There was the annual sale on Heiko, so I took advantage of it. Got it for under $1,000 with 3 extra tips. So see how it goes. That's mainly for production, but the repair bench has still just got the Pace over here, which has got both stations in one, which is nice and compact.
I'm still rocking a Hacko 701.
Boom, does the job.
That it
Better
does.
better than a lighter and a coat hanger.
No. What I need is one of those orange-handled jobbies from J-Car that has no temperature control on it, and it just goes to 900.
It on like a variac. Yeah.
I do have one of them, but it's for
We're
chassis
not quite
work.
at Mad Max territory that bad yet. We'll have to do that shit one day, but not quite.
Nah.
Not quite yet.
Well, one of the future ones will be where you and I go head to head in a PCB layout, because AI cannot take our jobs. We are too good at what we do.
Auto routing is pretty terrible, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon.
Nah.
And that's for the basic shit we do. Like, imagine designing like a complex, like friggin', computer or something using auto routing. No, wouldn't have a chance in hell.
Nah, not gonna happen. I'm sick of seeing these ads that are like, design your pedal with PCB using
using AI.
Yeah, right.
AI is just the buzzword everyone's using to make their shareholders feel happy. It's all the veneer will come off by the end of the year. That's my prediction, champions. I think by the end of this year, you're going to see the wheels start to fall off the bus. They already have, to be honest, but not in terms... Like, the problem is the media is so complicit, and until the media actually starts telling people the fucking truth and actually doing journalism would be nice. It's your fucking job.
Well, the problem is you need journalists to be able to do journalism, and they've all been fired.
Yeah, well, there's no journalists. It's just fucking toadies. So,
Mm.
so yeah, you're gonna have to look at independent media for that, champions, because none of the major media is. That's the other thing that pisses me off. Like during the whole everyone losing their mind during COVID, MSM was used as like a slur, but now it's true. It's like, back then, that actually was a modicum of truth in what they were saying, and all the conspiracy theorists were using MSM as a massive slur, and now it's kind of come true, and that annoys me. They've actually, because now they can pretend it always was true, and things have never been as bad in terms of captured media as it is now. So.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at CBS. You know, once massive stalwart in the industry that was like you trusted. It was the place, and now it's just captured.
That's the Barry Weiss one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less depressing things to end on. We got some comments here about what people are using. Yes, to answer. So someone did say JBC and Metcal both have induction, which is good.
Oh, they both have inductions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I knew I wasn't that crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not cheap, Joe.
Nah, but they're good. This is the kind of thing you buy once and you have it for life, right?
You don't mind paying if it's good, eh? Like if you pay a lot and there's annoying things with it, that really shits me.
Yep.
But yeah.
TK saying got a FX 888 on the guitar setup bench. I do as well.
Yeah, that's
right
fine.
over there.
Yep, I've got one here. That's what we're currently using for production. I just find that high mass thermal stuff, it struggles a little bit.
Yeah, they're too underpowered for that.
Yeah, so when you're doing a big bridge rectifier or something, it does suck a bit of heat out of it. Yeah, but for literally everything else on those boards, the FX 888D does the job. But yeah, it does have the calibration thing, which is a bit annoying. It's easy to accidentally set the calibration wrong.
Really?
Luke almost did that the other day. Yeah, you press and hold the set button, the enter button, and then you change your temperature setting.
Yeah.
But if you press and hold the up button, then you change your calibration point.
Really? Huh.
So that's bad.
I've never actually read the manual. I might actually have a read and check it out.
Yeah, neither have I. That was why we fucked it up. So then you need the calibration tool. Or do a factory reset, which I think you just hold both buttons in and as you power it up or something. I can't remember, but yeah. Point being, I just set it to as low a temperature as practical, and then maybe go up 5 degrees from there, and you're pretty comfy.
Yeah. My antiquated house wiring does not like Metcal. No safety grounds in the old part of the house. Eesh. No, not like I can get inside of the walls to put wires in. That is one thing that I am so grateful for in Australia, is that we adopted such a forward-thinking electrical standards system in the 1930s, which, funnily enough, was an American system. We took one of the American random systems and it became Australian. Yeah.
But what, they have the old knob and something...
yeah, they've got knob. They had knob and tube or whatever it was. We never had that.
It was like literally just
bare
fucking
wires
fencing wire inside your wall.
We didn't have that. We had straight away we had insulation as a requirement, but we also had, by the 1930s, mandatory earth neutral safety because we were based on the British system more so. We had the 240 volt. And it came relatively late. Like, we did have some Edison DC stuff, mainly in Sydney. But Sydney, New South Wales specifically was very forward-thinking in how we approached this. We went, okay, let's add sewerage and, like, plumbing to most all of the area, which we did. And then they ran power, which is why you drive through Sydney and you see, like, Municipal Council of Sydney substation buildings from the 1920s that are still here because they thought ahead. That's why the Harbour Bridge was as big and wide as it was. They went, we need something that's ready for 100+ years, and it's still not reached its maximum capacity.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? I do love Sydney. There's a big rivalry between Melbourne and Sydney, but yeah, I do love Sydney.
I love it as well. It's just so fucking hard to live here now and exist.
Yeah.
Everything is so
loving
expensive.
We want it to be more accessible to everyone, you know? And that's the thing that pisses me off. I've already said this 6 times today, but when people are like, there's all the fucking racist cockheads over here goes, oh, if you don't love it, leave. It's like, okay, if you don't love something, do you just abandon it, do you fuckhead? No, I stay around and I work on it because I want it to be a better thing. You don't
there's
just
a joke in
drop
there somewhere
something
about my biological father, but let's not go there.
But yeah, if you don't love something because it could be improved, you improve it. You put work into it. You don't just drop it like a fucking sack of shit.
Look,
It's
criticism.
If you do love something, you work on it and make it even better if you can. You know.
And that's the thing. Criticisms that we have about things are because we want things to be better, not just because we want to whine and complain. It's like if we have a criticism of something, it's like, here's a criticism. Here's how it should be. Here's how something should be better. You know, but that's never the way things go. A lot of the times,
to be 100% honest, we don't know exactly how to get there from here, but we're going to keep exploring it, and that's partly what this podcast is about, to brainstorm essentially with you legends too. Just think about ways that we can improve the shit that we're going through.
Exactly.
You know?
Make the world a better place for everyone.
We're not going to fix everything overnight, but we'll keep thinking about ways to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, legends, I better take off.
Yeah.
We're going to go home and do some spray painting while the weather's all right. Sort of all right.
I can't see outside because I've got no windows here.
Yeah. That's good. It's like a casino. You don't know what time it is that way.
Exactly. And everything's also a gamble, just like it is.
Yeah, true.
So for those who have stuck around, thank you, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
We'll see you again
Take it easy.
On the next one. And, of course, make sure you've liked and subscribed, do all that kind of jazz. Yeah, there'll be more coming, and, there'll be all the fun things on the next one, and it'll probably be more organised as well, you know. Got to feel our way through these things.
Yeah. Organised. As long as you're organising, I'll just turn up. I'm just a stunt cock.
I'm getting there. I got some more stuff to sort out for the next one. So
I've got too many videos how it is.
Alrighty, champions.
Right, legends, take it easy. Have a good one.
Indeed.
Don't do anything I would.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. Peace out.
Awkward moment.
Kinda.